Hello, and welcome to the 60-second episode of the Destiny Community Podcast, brought to you by Blue Microphones and Headphones and Scuff Gaming Controllers. Nailed it this week.
You got it.
No, I'm sorry. I was expecting to come back and for us to have a little bit more of like playing grab-ass time so I could tell you about my awesome new jacket. It's so soft and warm.
New jacket?
Yeah, new jacket, dude. A new jacket. It's got a World of Warcraft logo on it, right there, and then on the back.
Right out the gate.
Nice.
You don't even want to mess around tonight.
No, I didn't care about your jacket until you said World of Warcraft.
Yeah, see, there you go.
There's some people in chat that are going to be hammered tonight.
It is fleece lined, and it has what is it? A hood on it and a windbreaker shell inside it.
That's great.
Char,
sounds like you're ready for
exciting
the winter.
I mean, I don't think that I've seen birth control that effective ever in my life.
Have you seen the magic cards on the back on my wall there?
Using double protection. This is amazing.
I'm double bagging tonight.
Double bag.
Hey, baby, come over to my... Yeah. So you may have heard the voice of Char, who is a returning guest on our show. Welcome, sir.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hi.
You when I was thinking about having a guest on the show right after Curse of Osiris came on, your name popped up immediately. I love the way that you connect with your audience. You're a Twitch streamer. You're a variety streamer, but you started your career playing Destiny, right?
Yeah. I started streaming. I mean, I'd been streaming, on and off, not really seriously for years. It was just like, hey, I'm bored. So I'd message my friends from class, put on a stream for a few hours. It was nothing really serious. And then I started really getting into it around right after Dark Below came out. And it had been like 80% Destiny, just because that was the game I was really into, and I got really into the community and made a ton of friends there.
Nice.
And so you're if someone was to jump into your stream now, what would they find you playing? Is it just still Destiny, or do you stream other things?
I mean, it's still when there's stuff to do in Destiny, I'm on it. Like with Curse of Osiris, we've been checking that out. Basically, a lot of new releases now, especially Nintendo games are a big thing for me. Just played through the new Pokemon game. I want to get to Xenoblade. I haven't had a chance for that yet. We've got Breath of the Wild DLC 2, new story coming out soon. Yeah. And then a new Fire Emblem IP coming out next year. That's all on the horizon. I've actually got...
Are those going to be for the Switch?
Yeah.
Yeah? Nice.
The, the Fire Emblem will be...
Fire Emblem, yeah.
Isn't there supposed to be a Pokemon coming out for the Switch too?
I believe so, but we don't really know anything about it yet.
Sure, I've never played
Pokemon. I'm just going to confirm it right here. It's coming out for the Switch. And
confirmed.
So you confirmed.
I mean, before tonight, I was on the phone with my buddy Reggie. We were talking about it. Pokemon Stars. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Sure, I've never played Pokemon before. What do you think of me now?
I've never played Pokemon either.
I mean, you're welcome to live your life however you want.
Yeah.
Some people...
Am I missing out?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
My parents never bought me a Game Boy growing up. I was...
So sad.
I know.
Yeah.
This
is actually big news. I want to see you guys play it for the first time now.
If they come out on the Switch, I'll absolutely play it. I'm not going to buy one of those 500 adapters for a 3DS adapter and all that and play through it. No, because I heard it's finicky. Might have to ship it back to Japan. Blah blah blah.
I got a connection. Well, I got a guy who's got a connection.
I got a guy.
I know a guy.
His name is Eric. His name is Eric Gaming, and he can probably hook you up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nice.
I got to play around with a few of their official capture cards when I was over at Nintendo in Redmond. I tried to get one to bring with me, but it got stuck in red tape.
Stuck in red tape.
Yeah. That's
Redmond?
Is red tape that sticky?
It's like 15 minutes from me. Shit.
So, Char, you stream it. You do variety streaming. I've jumped in with a couple Fortnite games with you. Is that something that you have found an affinity towards? I feel it seems like you're just gearing up. You're playing that with you had a really I jumped into a stream the other day that you were playing with a bunch of streamers, but it seemed like a good chunk of the Destiny community is playing Fortnite right now. Do you find that to be the case, or?
I mean, Fortnite's a new game. I think it's fun. I don't really like it solo at all.
Okay.
Mostly because I'm really bad at it. The thing I like about Fortnite is that because all of my friends are playing it, I can play it with them. And those groups are fun to me. You know, these people that I'm friends with, that I'm close with, we can, you know, we have banter. We just have jokes all the time. It's a lot of fun to play in a group. You know, battle royales are exciting every time you win. Even if you win a lot, it's still a good feeling to win.
Sure.
When you have this huge group, 100 people drop down, and if you're the last man standing or the last group standing, it's a really satisfying feeling to win.
Yeah.
And with Fortnite being very fast-paced, very quick, easy to pick up, it's a lot, in my opinion, easier than playing something like PUBG or H1Z1 that have, you know, bigger maps or faster movement. I feel like there's something about it that's just fun to pick up and play to me.
Yeah, I agree. There's also the
for sure.
Like the loot. You know, when you see a purple weapon, you go, "Oh, purple weapon!"
It's always exciting.
Yeah, it's
always
exactly.
like, ooh.
Yeah, when you see a gold, you're like, "Oh my god, a gold scar! Oh my god, let's go!" It's exciting to see that kind of loot, and also the type of graphics it's got. Some people get turned off by its DreamWorksy type of thing going on.
I prefer it actually.
Yeah, I like it.
That type of graphics.
Yeah.
I really like that it's colorful. I was
Yeah.
I was playing some PUBG the other night, helping a friend get ready for some charity thing he was doing. And it was Fortnite's, you know, it's bright and colorful, it pops. I like that a lot more than, you know, the bleak, dry, I'm an action hero, everything is gray or brown.
Yeah.
So I see why that's really appealing. Another thing that's really cool about Fortnite is the building system. I feel like that's what really brings a lot of people into it, is because you can, you know, modify the map to serve your needs. You can build these huge fortresses, you can set traps, and some of the things you can do with the building system are really cool. You get it, like if you get caught out in the open, you're not just, you know, a sitting duck. You can quickly, you know, build up some cover and fight back. Or if you have the time, you can build these colossal bases. And we've actually done this technique where you layer on the diamond roof piece with a floor under it, and you sort of just scale around the entire circle when it gets really small. And if you use metal, it's impossibly healthy it's too hard to break down. So you always have the high ground. You can walk over on top of another group. You edit the pieces to put a little hole in it, and you can drop grenades on them or shoot through it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
See, that's some next level battle royale right there.
That is next level right there.
Well, it's great to have you on the show. I know people are going to want us to jump right into hearing our thoughts about the Curse of Osiris, and we had a TWAB today, and
a TWAB.
Whoa! What's that?
TWAB.
Let it happen.
TWAB. We had a TWAB today.
I heard TWAB.
No, you heard wrong. And we also had some
little loop back. You know,
we're gonna have to go back to the tape on this one.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. No one recorded that.
Nick,
so
I give you full permission to replay what.
Yeah, exactly what he said.
Just give a quick little edit there.
So
okay,
I'm sure Char agrees that it's pronounced TWAB, and we will be doing we're also going to be looking at a sandbox, right?
Yeah.
Sandbox update, some of the details of that. So why don't we jump right into the news?
You guys want to start off with the story?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sure, let's start out. Yeah.
So there are going to be some spoilers, right?
Yeah.
I would say this is going to be pretty spoiler heavy.
Probably.
I mean, don't spoil it too much because I haven't
let's
finished the campaign stuff.
For real?
Excuse me?
Well, look, guys, I'm a casual. I've played a few.
You played for like 45 minutes then?
No. All right. I've played for 2.5 hours.
And you didn't finish the campaign?
I play with my son, who we enjoy. Like it's like squirrels. You know, we get distracted really easily by other things. So a lot of public events happen, and a lot of things happen along the way.
Look, all right, so anyway. The story starts with the cutscene that we've seen many times. You're kind of introduced to Osiris and his ghost. You see that he can manipulate time. The ghost and Osiris get separated, and that's pretty much where we jump into our story. You go to the tower, you talk to Ikora Rey, and she basically starts you on the quest for Curse of Osiris. And it takes you to Mercury pretty much right away, which is nice. You get to see Mercury, you get to explore a little bit. You get introduced fairly quickly to the Infinite Forest. There's probably, I would say it took me about 3.5 hours to play through this story. Well, I was taking my time. I was streaming, having a good time.
Yeah, talking. All that.
So it's not overly long. But I did find it pretty interesting. I like the story beats that they hit. I found it overall to be engaging. I really liked Osiris. I really liked, spoiler alert at the end. He's got a beard.
He does.
He's bald.
Spoilers.
He's bald.
That man has enough hair on his face. He doesn't need any on his head. He'll be okay.
He's got to take it care of. I liked the story. It was short, but it was good. What'd you guys think of the story overall?
Yeah.
Why?
That's not a complete thought.
I know
Anything
it's
else
not.
to add?
I was trying to figure out
thoughts,
how
actually.
to properly say
Well,
this.
if anybody else wants to contribute their thoughts,
Here's what. Walking away from the story, I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, what? It's only 2 or 3 hours to play through or something like that." But honestly, it was a nice campaign to jump into. They reused a couple areas, but it wasn't like grotesquely reused, kind of like how they did with Dark Below. Dark Below, they literally ran through things backwards to make it feel different, something like that. This was new areas. The Infinite Forest was visually stunning. My God,
Agreed.
Mercury in the
past.
Mercury Past, I like. That was beautiful.
Cool.
there's a
Gorgeous.
past.
Yeah, Mercury Past is incredible. When you get there, you're like, whoa.
When that's the moment where it pops up and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hits you and you're like, this is this is great looking. Overall, the experience of the story I thought felt good. Like it was a fun story to go through. And yes, that boss fight at the end, I thought was some of the best boss fights that Destiny has put together. I
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I want raids to have that level of a boss fight, in my opinion, with
Can I ask a
difficulty in
quick-
there. So hold on one second.
Question?
Hold
All right,
like
it's related to what you're talking about. That's
okay,
all.
yeah, but the boss fight, the scale, and the types of things that you had to do in that boss fight, I want to see that on a raid level with difficulty associated with the raid because I thought it was really cool, honestly.
It was really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I initially was just like, I really enjoyed that. Someone was like, what did you think of it? And I was like, I really enjoyed it. First impression was I enjoyed that boss fight. It felt different to other things that we'd had before with boss fights.
Better than Gaul.
Yeah.
And yeah, it
I
was
agree,
definitely
yeah.
better than Gaul.
I like the way he's introduced to. What's his name? I keep forgetting his name.
Pompties or whatever.
I just keep calling him
Pantelopes.
I call him
Penelope?
like Pom
Penelope.
Pom.
Penelope. It's a lot easier.
I call him Pom Pom.
I think it's Pompties.
Anyhow, I like the way they
Panoptis,
introduced
that's what
him
it was.
because you can't really fight him when you're first introduced. Like your option is to run away or die pretty quickly. I like that he was introduced in that way. And then also he was obviously Vex, but he wasn't just another Vex mind that we've seen so many times in the past. It was a new model for the Vex, right? It was like it was a different look for a Vex enemy, but it was an interesting one.
Yeah.
Like, I like the bad guy. He didn't talk. We didn't get to hear his motivations from his own point of view.
True.
But he was definitely suitably evil or suitably threatening right off the get-go. And then it was fun, like kind of chasing him down and getting to him in the end.
What were you going to ask before I cut you off?
Well, it was more of a conversation about where I'm at in the story,
Okay.
and it's something that has come up several times for me. When I do a Call of Duty campaign, for example, it asks me to select my level of difficulty, right? And it goes up to veteran, and I can challenge myself because I'm typically going to play that campaign solo, and with Call of Duty. But I'm understanding, I'm playing this, and I'm wanting to take my gear off and down level my character.
Yes.
Simply
Yes, for
because
difficulty, yeah.
it's not fun it's not as much fun to just blow through everything. I can literally walk by guys as they sit there and they pepper me. There's only a few times in the campaign so far that I felt challenged with my health pool, and I just don't understand why. I don't understand why.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked the final boss because of the mechanics and stuff, but I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's a part where you have to pick up the ball and dunk it in the thing. During that time period, you're taking damage. If you watch your health bar, it's very
you are.
Like a pixel every other second, maybe. You're not taking damage. I was not threatened by time, which is, I think, what you're supposed to feel during that section.
I think that's interesting. We had that option in Destiny 1. You could play through the campaign at a higher difficulty level. It'd be nice to see that return because you're right. Like it did feel like a walk in the park for the most part.
It just doesn't. I don't. As a player, I don't feel the impending doom of these evil, robots and these great. I mean, the artistic landscape, everything. I can literally, in the middle of a campaign, stop and look at the roses as all these Vex are shooting at me. And I can just be like, oh, that's pretty. I can admire the skybox. And I shouldn't be able to do that. My character should be in mortal peril, fighting for their life to defeat these Vex that are trying to erase us from the timeline. I mean, I just don't feel like that during the campaign. And I think that might attribute to why people are blowing through it so quickly. And that they're not feeling like it was a real experience for them. They're bored through it.
Well, it's
like, at least that's me.
Choose to avoid 99% of the enemies that are there. The only time that you have to really fight is when you have to kill the daemons to open up the gate to continue in the forest. The rest of the time, you can just kind of run past everything because they don't do enough damage to you to make you stop and shoot them. And you can just blaze through it. You can do it in 45 minutes or something, the whole story, if you just skip everything.
Yeah, the story took me a little bit over an hour. I don't think that enemies being stronger, just doing more damage, if I delta scale myself negatively, that it would make it more engaging or more fun or more challenging. I think that stems more towards the enemy AI and patterns, because if you're out in patrol or you're out doing a story mission, you could just stand still and eventually enemies will take you down, but it'll take them a good 45 seconds, minute and a half, just because they shoot 3 bullets, walk around, shoot 3 bullets, walk around. Then on the flip side of that, you have prestige activities or heroic activities where enemies are ridiculously aggressive. They do not flinch unless you drop insane amounts of heavy ammo on them, and they will just fire their weapons nonstop. I think there needs to be some level of difficulty in between walk in the park that Pope says everyone's experiencing with the campaign, which I did agree in. I never once felt like I was in danger. And the only time I ever died was if I did something stupid like jumping off the map.
Right.
But not so difficult that if I peek out of cover, I'm getting whaled by 30 shots from 2 knights.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I guess another piece to that is that we're at a point where in that campaign, it's saying that the difficulty level is 230, right? The recommended light level for part of the campaign is 230. I guess, man, I there's parts of the fight, Char, that I'm like, you come up against a Vex mind, right? In a yellow bar boss, and mini boss, right? And that arena is very beautifully done, and there's enemies that are going to spawn in at varying waves to challenge you, right? As you fight this yellow bar boss. Well, three goddamn rocket launchers and that yellow bar boss is done.
Yeah, he's wiped.
And you never experience the intended waves of enemy AI that are supposed to come and challenge you as you never engage in the real mechanic of the fight. So when you breeze through that segment, you're kind of like, huh, okay, all right. And then you go, that was easy. But in reality, this beautiful space that you were supposed to engage this yellow bar boss was never really realized. And all these, I guess it just really cheapens that experience, because I want to be able to, and that's why I said upping their health would allow us to experience those second tier, third tier waves of enemies.
I don't think upping the health would do anything, mainly because sections of the Infinite Forest, mainly the ones in the story, we quickly discovered, we don't, unless it's an area that you have to kill the daemons, you run through, click on the bridge section, next section spawns, run through.
Yeah, but you don't really know that your first time through, right? It's
I knew it my first time through.
My first time through, I was trying to enjoy the story. I was trying to like take a look, at the, smell the roses, and really kind of take a look at the thing, because you never really get a second time to do your first time. So I wanted to enjoy it as best as I can and kind of take in the story.
It got to the point where I was just running through, not killing anything.
A little more challenge in the story. I would agree with Pope. A little more challenge would be great. I've actually, now that once you get through the story, you can play the Infinite Forest challenges at a higher difficulty. And if you go in there solo, it is relatively challenging.
This week is hard.
Heroic adventures.
Momentum, and then the shanks, the little sniper shanks, they just go, you fall over.
Mm-hmm.
You just
it
die.
reminds me a lot of like Year One Nightfalls, like trying to solo Year One Nightfalls. Like you really have to be kind of tactical about it. Like Char says, you gotta be careful. It is like they fire a lot more. They don't flinch, so you have to just kind of really be careful about putting your neck out there. But it is fairly difficult. If there's some kind of balance between what we played in the story and what we play in the adventure later, I think that would have been nice, because you would have had to, take your time going through that.
I think fundamentally it comes down to D2's approach to AI. Like their art team, always top notch, fantastic. These skyboxes are next level. It's incredible, gorgeous.
Oh my god!
But when it comes to the AI, and this is one of the things I noticed coming to Destiny 2, is like they didn't up the AI at all, and it's very casual. It's friendly for somebody who's just jumping in and shooting enemies, and you don't experience any kind of like, aside from bullet sponges that show up in Nightfalls or prestige level stuff, the AI is just kind of dumb. It doesn't. It's
not even against people who are just jumping in. It feels like the entire game is about, or at least the story, the stuff that we've been playing, aside from raids, are balanced around people that have literally no first-person shooter experience at all. In just my opinion.
I wonder if a part of the AI being like that just across the board is because when you do take it and you put it in like the raid and the prestige raid, they can't be super smart, because then it would be way too difficult. So they kind of just make this AI the same across the board. Like you experience the same AI behavior in the story as you would in the raid, right? It's just that in the raid they do more damage and you're more squishy. So I'm wondering if that's why. Like if you tune them all the way up in the story, then they're also going to be tuned up in the raid potentially. I don't know how that system works.
I guess I like to think of it from like a Souls perspective. Like Souls and Bloodborne, they have mechanics in their AI that allow you to learn what they're doing, so then you can overcome the difficulty. So the first time you get killed by something, you're like, how in the hell am I going to beat this boss? Or how am I going to get past this part? This seems impossible. But then you start learning the mappings. And I guess that's what's completely missing from D2, is that difficulty in D2 means that, or Destiny in general, because it was like that with the heroic stuff before, it means that they take more shots and they shoot heavier, or they shoot more. And
or like flinch. There's more of them.
Yeah.
Like it seems Destiny's ramping of what they want difficulty to be is, let's just add a bunch of dudes. And they're all shooting you. And
then we saw some challenges. I like the direction they took with some of the Taken. And then the reason why I like the Taken is because they introduced the enemies in combinations, where you had them shielding each other and going into combat, working as a team. I felt like the AI there was more, and they lag switch. So
unbelievable, lag switching crawl, so annoying.
Anyway, I like that idea.
Seeing as we're speaking of AI, what did you guys think about the mission where there's that Cabal dude that has essentially a tractor cannon that he shoots at you? He also smashes into you and knocks you into lasers and kicks and knocks you about. What did you think of him? Because he's very specific for that arena, right?
You're
He's trying to knock you into lasers.
I thought he was cool. I got debated hard too. I chucked the Nova Bomb right at that Minotaur that shows up, or the Gate Lord, and then he he slammed down, was like, what up? I was like, oh.
I know, you're
I still had that Nova Bomb.
Debated. That was great.
So I fought the Cabal boss twice, once during the story and then once as a strike. I mean, I spent hours playing strikes just to try and get the two new ones, and I kept requeuing, and I only played each of the other ones once. In my experience in both the story version and the strike version, I never really noticed that he was trying to throw me into lasers. I had no idea. It just felt like a regular Cabal to me, the way he behaved. I don't know if that was my personal experience or just the way that the fight went down. It was very, you know, we go into the first room. He kills the Gate Lord. You shoot him a bunch. He jumps to the next room. I saw there were lasers, but I didn't realize that was part of his mechanic because
your health is so high, Char. You can walk across the lasers and it barely affects you. Like, it literally needs to be harder.
The heroic
Imagine
strike
that
is
as
different.
the prestige Nightfall.
Yeah.
Okay, so so
Yeah.
in the campaign is all I'm gauging myself off of. That gun, the tractor cannon gun, when he hit me with it and I flew backwards and I'm like, yes, I'm gonna die. No. No, like literally he shot me. I got launched against the wall and I kind of went poof. Ooh, boom. And I landed. And it's like this the lasers, the enemies, he was forced in a he didn't challenge you. You could stay all the way far back. His aggro didn't push him past mid map. So he didn't come all the way to your side. So I could sit back with a scout rifle along the back row and just sit there, puck, puck, puck. So I felt like he could have been more dynamic. But I like the idea.
That was a strike, to be honest with you.
I
haven't been able to get that. I haven't been able to get that to pop as a heroic strike. And one of the nice things about the DLC is that it has encouraged me to go out and do strikes so I can get the forge weapons.
The materials for the forged weapons and also ornaments.
Yeah. But I haven't. There's 2 new strikes on PC. I've been playing primarily on PC, and I haven't seen either one of them pop up.
I got to play both of them actually, and I did like.
This is luck of the draw.
Yeah, luck of the draw. Yeah.
That's part of the problem of not being able to select the specific activities we want to do anymore. You can't. Oh, I want to go redo this strike, or I want to do this with my friends. You're then sitting in queue, and you get it or you don't.
Right.
I was in a queue with 2 of my friends, and we re-queued 6 times. And never got one of the new ones, and then we just gave up on it and said we'll just play regular strikes, I guess. That's not a good play experience.
Yeah.
And the same thing, if I wanted to go back and fight that final boss again, if I wanted to go back and relive that fight, or if there was like an Easter egg that's been found in the Infinite Forest, someone found something, I wasn't able to go back into the Infinite Forest the first day, because I did my 3 normal adventures and then I did my 3 heroic adventures. I was not able to enter the Infinite Forest. I was literally locked out.
I'm still not able to because the game is bugged and just won't let me go back in.
Really?
Yeah.
Through adventures, he won't let you?
Yep.
Whoa, that sucks.
Yeah. It says activity activated or something like that all the time.
Huh.
So I just can't get in.
Interesting.
Weird.
They addressed it in the TWAB today.
Yeah. The Infinite Forest, like conceptually, amazing concept. Execution wise, like huge missed opportunity. Like,
to me, it feels like a tech demo.
Yes.
Like the Infinite Forest, looking at it from a technical side, from a developer side, is rather impressive. They've got something that's semi-procedurally generated. They've got these little areas with these mini mechanics, you know, the things like the demons. I feel like it's a really good start, but it could be developed on so much more.
yeah.
There should be an Infinite Forest where these segments just go on forever, where there isn't an end destination, where the longer you play, you get these more intricate levels. You get things with
hard mode.
And harder.
Yeah,
like-
things that get
Well,
harder.
the heroic versions are hard, Pope.
Yeah.
Well, I hear you. I hear you, but I like the idea of what Char is mentioning. It's like the concept of a horde mode that is infinite and not in an arena space like we used to having horde modes, right? Like where there's a specific map, but add the challenge of the map itself being an enemy aspect of a horde mode. As you're going through it, the next room becomes more difficult and more challenging, and so do the AI, and your progression in the horde mode is each room. And you can, there's a counter at the bottom that says you've progressed into 15 rooms of this horde mode through the Infinite Forest. and that could be what people use.
There's even one of those adventures this week. It's like a bug in the system or something.
Yeah.
It ends with like a perfect opportunity for a horde mode. Like
it basically is like a mini horde mode.
Yeah, it
like
is
this huge circular arena that you got to protect this one little like spot to make sure that nobody gets to it. Like it's the perfect opportunity.
More importantly, it's in past Mercury, which is badass. Bring more past Mercury into this. Why isn't there a patrol?
Past Mercury.
Yeah, like why isn't there a patrol to go into past Mercury? Like I get from a lore perspective, patrols wouldn't really make sense inside the Infinite Forest.
Who cares about
Who cares exactly? I want to patrol past Mercury.
I disagree with you actually. There's a section part of the story where the ghost looks at you and he says, when we're not, when the world isn't in grave peril, can we come back? The ghost is freaking out as much as Bife would be over all this stuff in the Infinite Forest. Is like, this is beautiful. It's weird to me that, we're trying, like the world is ending and we're here to try and stop all that. But when everything isn't awful, can we come back and can we explore? Can we learn more about this? And unfortunately, the answer to that is no, we can't.
Only if Brother Vance tells you can go back in and do one of the
but only if you write 2 more Osiris books. You haven't written the books.
You're not as high ranked in the fan club yet.
I'm not.
The two activities themselves are so interesting. If like they just committed to like one of them instead of what we got, where it's like these two kind of half-baked isn't the right word, but these two ideas that are close but not all the way there, like the whole going through the Infinite Forest thing. It'd be great if that just went on forever and was in fact infinite, as the name suggests. Or the end thing, if those things were like individual modes where you could have 6 players in them. It could be a horde mode, a tower defense type thing. They're all very, very close to those realities, but instead we got what we got.
Missed opportunities.
It seems like they've been flirting with like a horde mode or like this round-based mode for so long, and every time they miss the mark.
Yeah.
How many times have you had to defend a door for 3 waves in the last 4 years?
Not too many.
Like we've had these mini hordes forever, and people for years have been saying, Bungie, give us a horde mode. Then we had, Prison of Elders, which they told us was going to be, it's going to be a different experience all the time. What they didn't say was that every encounter individually is going to be the same every time you do that specific encounter.
Yeah.
And then after 5 weeks, you've done literally all of them. And then we had the Forge, which was put in a key, and you can have 12 instances of horde-esque thing. And we've been going through this for many years, and people just want a traditional horde mode. Stick us in an arena, or make 2 or 3 different arenas, and then give us waves of enemies. Put it in the Infinite Force would be the perfect place to put it. Yeah. We're going into a simulation, so we can, train ourselves to be better guardians. What would it be like if the Fallen and the Cabal suddenly formed an alliance and were attacking the new tower?
Exactly. Yep.
We should run a simulation on that.
Exactly. Yeah, see what they could do. They have the infinite loading screen, as we're calling it now. So you'll load up to the door, and then you go into the door, and then you're in this new simulation, and then it's really cool. And what they should do is have it so you go through the loading style, you get to the simulation area, you clear the simulation area that is some sort of horde mode, you go through the door again, and then you go through another loading side in the Infinite Forest, and it just keeps on going until a certain set of requirements are met that you can say, I'm willing to end the activity now, or keep going for harder enemies and better rewards, or higher tier rewards, or cosmetics or something, or just bragging rights that happen, that every time you clear it, you get more of the stuff. Because we like that. Like, we want stuff like that.
That's actually very similar to...
The pieces are there. It's just like they just need to be put in the proper place.
Yeah, and modifiers for playing, things for like 3 different classes going in and doing things. Just give us incentives, weekly incentives that will tell us how to play, or challenges to go in and play it in a certain way. I
feel like this is such low-hanging fruit. Like literally just... Oh, wow, that's simple. Oh my God, of course, yeah.
Well, maybe you know what, and maybe they do want this stuff, and we'll see it in the future. So who knows? I'm trying to be optimistic there.
I'm very optimistic. I am. Like I know that they're working on stuff and things are going to change and so on and so forth. But a lot of times these design decisions make you go, really? You didn't? I mean,
I said that with the what was it? Basically the sandbox patch as a whole this week.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
Let's get into that.
Great segue. Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that they touched on. We wanted hand cannons to be more consistent on console, and that got hit.
Hey, actually, do you know exactly how they change hand cannons? Can you describe
They
it?
don't tell us the specific
Well, no, they don't,
ways
which is
they do it.
another. Yeah, they don't give us exact things in there. Let me find the exact increase base damage.
I will say hand cannons
improved
on
base
PC feel
aim
better.
assist on aggressive hand cannons. That was that
What
one
makes
thing.
the hand
on
cannon
console
aggressive?
feel better. I'd like, what does that mean? What's an aggressive hand cannon? Is it
that would
one
be
that
the
makes louder
slowest rate of
sounds?
fire.
Yeah,
The
that's
slowest
the
rate of fire.
slowest
Okay,
rate of
then
fire.
why don't they say that?
Yeah,
Why
right.
don't they say on the
Right, I feel like that's a
slowest rate
term
of-
they use
Yeah.
Or give a
their
list of
Internally,
studio, but
right?
we never-
That they do say that, Watts. It's in the game. It's literally
Aggressive frame?
You've got three
Aggressive
archetypes. Yeah,
But
you
wouldn't
got
it
three
make it
archetypes
just-
of hand
I'm
cannon,
just from
and it's
patch
listed
notes
in the game.
I would like for them to be more in depth, to be more explain more about what they're changing. Give us numbers, make it super clear what's happening to the game, rather than being like, okay, so they did this thing. What does that actually mean? And how much faster does this recharge? How much slower is this? What's the damage on this that's changed? They're just like, we lowered the damage on X. It's like, okay, but
Hey Watts. Speaking to that, so remember how 6-shooter Golden Gun perk was really short. It was really short.
Yep.
Let me read you this line from the Hunter changes. The base duration of Golden Gun is now the same for both paths.
So you'd think your assumption of that could be many things. You could be like, so is the 3-shot now as short as the 6-shot? Is the 6-shot as long as the 3-shot? Is there some kind of middle thing? It doesn't actually tell you what that change is.
Exactly. The point of patch notes, in my opinion, as a player of the game, is to read them and have a greater understanding of what's going on in the game. I don't like leaving patch notes with more questions than I had going in. And also, I want the patch notes to be representative of what the stuff is actually in the game. Using language like the base duration of Golden Gun is the same for both paths is a little bit deceptive. Because what actually happened is the 6-shooter perk got brought up, and then the 3-shooter perk got brought down.
I didn't read anything about that.
It doesn't say that.
You didn't really glean that from there. I mean, sure, if you
read between the lines and you put on your little spectacle and you're like, okay.
There's
I
3
see.
lines to read between. There you go.
Well, I don't know, man. I understand that they could have a little more detail in there, but I
I could
do
have a lot
like
more
the-
detail.
a lot more detail.
Seriously.
But I agree. I completely agree. You know, and I feel like that camel that's dead on the ground that we just keep beating it, over and over again. I like to talk about like the stuff that's like, so here we got some changes.
Okay.
They aren't everything we want, but there are some changes that we need to go through and talk about and stay focused on, what they're doing to improve the game. I don't know. There seems to be some stuff we can talk about.
Hand cannons feel better on console now? Anybody try?
They do. They do feel better.
I played with it today. I felt like it felt better, but still didn't want to use them as opposed to a assault rifle or SMG or even a scout rifle on the console.
Okay. On PC, it felt
still,
like they were
still
even
didn't
better.
feel like on PC where I aim it fires. If that's what you mean.
Well, I felt like on PC it's even better. I felt like there was I don't know, it just felt even better than what it was before with that patch.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. Like Watt said, I can't tell you what they did to him.
Mhm.
It did feel better. Like it seems like probably there's more aim assist there.
Well, with
Like
a
it
mouse,
they didn't
there's
feel
no
any
aim
more
assist.
sticky. I'm talking about on console.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay, yeah. It felt like the accuracy was better, like as if it's because I think it's something the patch note said.
Did they make any? They didn't say anything about changes to
I thought
PC version, did they?
No, not to the PC version, but I thought in the sandbox, didn't they say something about the pacing of the shots is been adjusted with the accuracy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I scrolled away from it. Hand cannon accuracy recovery now scales with rate of fire.
Right, and that's
Like, what does that mean?
exactly that. When I read that, I was like,
I was like,
the Y conjugate, what the thing, whatever, what? But when
What I
I
think that
play
means
it, it
is
feels
that-
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
When you're shooting a hand cannon, if you're mashing fire, whether it's your mouse or your controller or whatever, if you're shooting fast, like as fast as the gun allows you to, you haven't had full time to recover the gun back to your resting position. Like if you're holding an actual pistol and you just fire it off as quickly as you can, you're not going to be able to bring it back fully under your control in between every single shot. So what they're saying is that you need to slow down your gun appropriately based on its intended rate of fire before you get that full accuracy back.
Right.
So while you may be able to shoot this gun 120 times per minute, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to be completely effective at that rate of fire.
Interesting.
One of the things that did we go through the abilities, the sandbox changes, general grenades, Titan, Hunter?
No.
There's so many. Like it
so
just
many
seems
things.
painful to read through them all individually.
Okay, let's rip a Band-Aid on one of them that I know is going to make some grumbles. Shoulder charge. How about that?
Holy.
That needed to be changed. So there is some changes that are significant to the way that we play the game, and people should be aware of. They reduced the pulse grenade damage slightly and toned down the intensity of camera shake and controller rumble associated with each pulse. I think that's a change that a lot of people talked about for PvP was an issue. Pulse grenades were more powerful than any other grenade.
The screen shake as well is the major thing there. It's really hard to combat it. As a side note, if there are damage changes like that, getting percent changes or actual numbers would be really great.
I will say,
and so
in the Crucible, when I get hit by a pulse nade now, it's not as threatening. I was like, oh.
Yeah,
and they
for sure.
they increase the damage of other grenades, right? So
Yes.
they're trying to bring them
Not in
online.
PvP. Not in PvP.
Right, so of combatants, flashbang grenade, magnetic grenade, every other grenade got a boost for PvP.
Every other one except Void, Spike, and whatever the line grenade is for
Wall
Void.
grenade.
So
Basically,
all Night Stalker.
all the
grenades.
Night Stalker grenades. They didn't get touched. But that was honestly fine because Night
It's
Stalkers have
fine.
access to the bottom tree that extends the duration and makes them the top damaging grenade if you do that. So
Yeah, that's fine. Even without it, the line grenade does so much damage.
So taking a look at that list, does anything stand out from the Titan sandbox changes?
Well, again, why did they nerf
shoulder charge.
the shoulder charge for distance traveling? Like,
See, this is actually why I'd really like not only just the numbers, but a
The
full
why.
write-up of reasoning. Yeah, like
Yeah.
what are we going for? Let me know your design philosophy. Let me know where you're heading.
We've had
Like,
that in the past.
We have, yeah.
Yeah.
We have. They write like their goals. They write that out, and then they write the
Right?
changes.
like,
But we don't have that in this one. It was just like really. It was
like-
just like boom, boom, boom.
it's like they were having a race internally. Two of them were warlocks that were blinking, and one of them was Titan. And then the Titan one, they're like, "That's baloney. You get a nerf. You shouldn't be able to win."
It feels like just gleaning stuff from the changes. They're trying to reduce that in any aspect of like a skill gap that could form through mobility.
I agree.
Like using abilities and stuff to actually have greater
skill
skill feels limited to just blink now.
Well,
Like-
they were also an issue in Destiny 1 where we kept talking about why the Titan, which was supposed to be the heavy
It was
tank
the
class,
fastest.
was too fast. So now this is maybe a response to that. The Titan is not supposed to be the fastest class, and maybe this was not.
To me,
But
it
I don't
really
know if
feels
anyone
to me
said
like
that in
it's
D2.
what they're
Yeah.
trying to do is balance all the classes and subclasses to make to create a situation where there's never one subclass that is the correct subclass to use, right? So they pulled a little back on the striker, but they also buffed up the Sunbreaker quite a bit. Like they did several things to try and buff the Sunbreaker a little bit, because there's very little usage of Sunbreaker and a lot of usage of the Striker. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. So talking about the Hunter, they something that I saw you tweeting out, Miss Watts, of a couple changes that you were excited about, or that are going in the right direction. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, there was so Night Stalker now, the super, if you hit someone dead on with your shadow shot, it will immediately suppress them. So hopefully that means no more people in supers, you hit them and then they still manage to kill you after you hit them with the super.
Yeah.
So that's good. Also, they fixed Hunter recovery boots.
Yeah.
They say they get recovery, they actually do now.
They fixed recovery in general. You can run to recovery and not need a calendar for when your recovery comes back.
Yes, that's a big deal, and I think that's the way that.
Hold on.
Are reacting to PvP.
Pause.
I just froze up.
Yeah, we're getting a lag spike in Skype. Let me make sure I'm not dropping frames. I'm not dropping any frames.
Yeah, I think it's just Skype in general.
Yep.
Thank you, Micro.
Oh.
There. No. Patrick.
Oh.
No. There's Char.
Char.
No.
Char's back.
Oh.
There's Watts.
Oh.
Char's camera's gone.
Oh no.
No. All right. Patrick's back. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here. I'm just saying, thanks, Microsoft.
Char's camera's back.
There we go.
Back.
We're back.
Yes. Just Skype.
Straight crashed on me there. That's weird.
I think
that's
Pompties or whatever his name just came in, was trying to.
Yes.
Mr. Pom Pom. His name is
Mr. Pom Pom.
Right.
I think they're trying to write us out of this
I think one of the things that I saw that was
trying to delete
cool
us from the times
is Arcstrider dodge now briefly breaks tracking.
Yes.
I think that's going to be helpful, right? A lot of people that's not going to be helpful. Why is it not going to be helpful?
That's only really helpful for getting grenades to stop tracking you. It's really not going to do much, and it's only during your super.
Basically, it's the problem with Arcstrider is in its ability to close the gap, but dodge doesn't actually makes you move slower. So closing the gap isn't really feasible if you are spamming dodge to do so, unless you're going up against someone who's standing still in PvP.
Okay.
Any person can easily, the best strategy for if you're going up against an Arcstrider is to turn around and just run the other direction, and they literally can't do anything.
If you just backpedal with an energy weapon, you'll kill an Arcstrider before they can get even close to you.
Yeah.
With the effect on energy weapons that they do full damage against Guardians and their supers, melee supers struggle incredibly hard to pick up kills, with the exception of maybe the Sentinel because of its insane movement. As an Arcstrider or even a Striker, your only real option is to run straight at an enemy or run and dodge in a way that you can try and use cover to your advantage. But with energies being fully powered against supers and you being incredibly short-ranged, I often feel weaker in my super than I do when I have my gun out, because it's so easy for someone to just backpedal and shoot me. The biggest problem that Arcstrider faces is that it doesn't have mobility, and like you said, you can just turn around and run away, and they will never catch you. Another issue that Arcstrider has is that it's not very fluid. When you're in your dodge, you're locked into it. So if you dodge at someone and you're within range, you can't, let's say, cancel that animation halfway through it with an attack and immediately hit them. You have to wait until that very slow and clunky animation finishes. You have your feet planted on the ground, and then you get to an attack. For a class that's so reliant on its mobility and fluidity, it fails in both categories.
That's true.
That's interesting.
Isn't there a thing that's happening though in the dodge of Arcstrider? You're invincible right now, or wasn't there? No.
There is the bottom tree talent says you are harder to kill.
So because some people were telling me that there was a thing going on where when you're dodge, you're nearly invincible with this current patch. Maybe that was just something. Wasn't actually the case. I don't play Arcstrider unless I'm in PvE and want to kill a bunch of ads.
I refuse to as well. The grenade choices overall for the class are disappointing. The super itself, as Char was just saying, is kind of hard to use. It's if you're playing it any sort of against any sort of player, you're doing yourself a disservice by playing Arcstrider.
Okay. It doesn't look. Sorry, go ahead.
The final thing for hunters. Why doesn't tether kill in one shot? It's my kind of big thing.
Well, I got one question for you. What gives you the right?
Who do you think you are?
It's called a super, not called ridiculous.
It's called a tether. It's not called a death arrow. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So the hunters always, at least recently, seem to kind of be needing that hero moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brought it back, and you're just
Golden Gun's still really great, but yeah.
The Golden Gun feels great, but the subclass's neutral game itself is what turns so many people away from it. Sure. You have, even with the dodge, very little mobility as a gunslinger, and the grenade and throwing knife don't really synergize that well together. It almost leaves me as a gunslinger player asking myself, what is my purpose when I play this class? When I play Night Stalker, I know that my purpose is as much area denial as I can. I can, neutralize major threats with my tether, or I can blind them, or just wall them off with a grenade. With an Archstrider, I can do tons of AoE damage, whether it's with my grenades or my supers, or I can abuse my regular dodge and then combination blow to constantly be punching enemies and healing myself up and just staying in combat. But as a gunslinger, I don't really know where I fit in other than I can pop my super every now and again, do a bunch of boss damage, make some orbs, but when that's on cooldown, I don't really know what to do.
Not to mention your throwing knife as a gunslinger, on PC at least. On PC, throwing knife just doesn't work without the aim assist from a controller or console. It feels like you're hitting you're trying to hit a single pixel on a screen.
Feels like the hitbox has been shrunk, whereas on console
definitely.
the hitbox is like this big for their head.
Sure.
It's a generous hitbox.
Has
It
always
absolutely
been
is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Since D1, it was like gigantic.
Yeah. But
do we want to talk about warlocks? What do they do for warlocks here in this sandbox?
What did they do for them?
It doesn't look like anything really substantial.
Nothing really.
I was blown away that they didn't touch Devour.
Thank God.
I was
They
blown
did.
away that
They
did
absolutely
anything
did,
to
Tefty.
Dawnblade.
Okay.
Right? Dawnblade didn't get any talk, and Devour didn't get a mention either. Like, what?
Yes, it did.
Devour got a very small.
No, it's huge.
Adjustment.
Briar.
They
It's
updated
huge.
the Devour perk description to correctly indicate that the ability is triggered on kills.
Yeah, Tefty.
In case
When
you
you
didn't
kill
know
people.
that from playing it
In case you
already.
didn't know. So don't say they didn't. So
Dude,
don't
I
say they
had
didn't.
no idea. I
change
had to
it.
kill things to devour them. That's crazy.
Oh man. Yeah.
It's a little weird. I mean, I expected Devour, I thought that maybe it giving you 100% health back was just an error, and somebody put a little thing down and was like, whoops, that was meant to be 60%, not 100%.
Everything else usually just starts your health regen, right?
Yeah.
In most cases of stuff that gives you health back, it starts the health regen. But this is boom, health back.
Full health. With the Crimson gun, you get a portion of health. You don't get the whole thing. You get a portion on a kill. And I assumed that they wanted to bring that in line with that. And when they didn't, I was like, wow, okay.
I'm really surprised by that too, because at the end of Destiny 1, they changed a lot of those health regeneration perks because of all of the special ammo changes that made it so you didn't have your sniper or your shotgun very often anymore. So things like Hungering Blade and other similar skills were nerfed so that instead of triggering health regen, you just got, I think it was 40% of your maximum health back or something similar.
Yeah.
And now in Destiny 2, the economy has been completely changed because we have primary power now, that it's surprising to not only have something that fully heals you, but it doesn't even trigger health regen. It's just your health is back.
It's
now.
immediate health.
Well, those team shots, they take a lot of my health, man. I gotta
Eat
I
grenades.
peek my head out. It's like four Midas hit me in the face. I gotta get back, eat a grenade, and get my health back.
Have a quick snack, get a pick me up.
For the grenade eating, since that process itself takes time to eat the grenade, I feel like that's fine if that fully heals you. But once you've got Devour running in, you've got the buff active, killing something with your gun or your melee, that should either be a portion or a health regen trigger. If I kill something with my Arc Strider melee, that just triggers my health regen. If I get hit half a second later, I lose out on the rest of that regen, and I don't have a ton of regen as a hunter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the biggest weaknesses is I can be in a huge arena full of really weak ads that I can just keep punching over and over and over. But if they're constantly hitting me, I'm not actually healing. Whereas with Devour, you're always full health.
Yeah.
So one of the funniest things right now is using seeing a Warlock with Devour use the Prometheus lens in PvP. Because they are a nigh unkillable god. They kill someone instantaneously. They heal instantaneously.
Speaking about the Prometheus lens,
yes, please do.
I called my mother today, and she's like, "I got good at Crucible." I'm like, "Do you have the Prometheus lens?" She's like, "Yeah. How did you know?" And I'm like, God. There's a bug with it right now. It's a little bit better than it's supposed to be. She was devastated.
She thought she was good.
She thought that she found a weapon that made her compete in Crucible, and she's so sad that it's going to get fixed.
Well, this story is amazing. This is absolutely incredible story.
I can't believe it. I mean,
there is a very active Prometheus lens defense force on Twitter. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Anybody who talks about it, Bungie's openly stated that the gun is bugged, right?
Mom's gonna write a letter saying keep it the way it is.
But there is a very active Prometheus defense force that is just like, no, don't nerf it. It's perfect.
Bring everything else up to the same time to kill. Come on.
I've heard this is the time to kill that it should be.
It is way too fast.
It's
way too fast. But
I think that's the right spot for me.
The idea of requiring, so much to get in and out of gunfights. The idea of the Prometheus lens of being able to get in there and make plays happen as a solo player is what people are really wanting, right?
People also like the fact that they could be the only ones in a game that has this god weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's the big thing is...
Dude, it is a win button for sure. It's amazing.
Right now.
It's so fast to kill. Right. And then I don't have one.
Same.
But I've gotten put against a team that has 3 of them, and it's like every corner you turn around, you just like, zap, dead.
Yeah.
Like, oh, damn.
Your reaction time to be able to get away from a beam is so insignificant that 9 times out of 10 you're going to die if you've been spotted.
I don't think you can actually get away from it like on console. You can't turn around and slide away quick enough unless you're like a hunter with dodge. Hunter dodge came useful. Holy shit.
Dodge the lens.
Dodge the lens.
I was actually surprised that I'm not throwing any shade. I was surprised that they didn't cancel trials over it. Like, that's how powerful it is. It's like it is the win button. If you have a team that has it going against a team that doesn't,
and you can point your gun.
You guys made a point earlier that I think that would give them the confidence to do that. Let Xur sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just let Xur sell it. Everyone in the
community sells it, then everybody's got the equal footing, and it's going to be trials of beams. There's going to be trials of.
It's going to be the weapon.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be funny as hell to watch.
It would be. I think it might be actually pretty fun for a week of just like this. Everyone using the Prometheus lens would actually be
insanely
pretty
fun.
I think for one weekend it would be fun to play laser tag. I think it'll be a little frustrating for people to play laser tag in trials where they're trying to win 7 times in a row.
If they don't sell it from Xur though, I'm not going to be at trials this weekend. Like, it's just, unless I get it. If I get the Prometheus lens, I'll go in and have some fun in trials with my friends. If I don't have it, like, regular Crucible has taught me over the last couple of days that I don't want to face this thing without.
It's the best part is that you're in Crucible and someone's killing you, and you're running into those people that are just killing you and then teabagging you, and you're like,
you didn't do anything.
What? Why? And it's just like you don't want to be in regular Crucible. It's no big deal, but you don't want to be like in trials and having your flawless run on the line, and some guy's up there going.
With the laser?
Yeah.
Just
firing like deadly accurate too. Like, you can cross map somebody super fast with it. You can be in the midair, firing from midair. It's super accurate. Like there's no weakness to the gun.
Yeah. It's not like Last Hope where you got to be close to get that 0.7 time to kill. It's if you're in a lane, regardless of distance, you're going to die from that thing if they spot you first.
Yeah. Or if they spot you second. After you've shot them for half a second, they turn around, casually light a cigarette.
No, they like the cigarette with the gun.
They like the cigarette with the gun. And they're like, oh, hey, zap. And then they think your friends too.
I was trying to get PvP footage for Jade Rabbit. And
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That's the one gun that you might be able to use against the Prometheus lens because you can stand so far away.
Yeah. No? Okay. I was
super far away.
I was in Vostok. That is like that is the best possible place that you could be to use Jade Rabbit. I was in one of the sniper towers.
Oh boy.
Okay. I see guy, start shooting, land 2 shots. He sees me, zap, dead. Mm-hmm. I get out sniped.
Dude, you just gotta get better.
Yeah, I need to let my Jade Rabbit fire faster.
Don't get shot, man.
Don't get shot. Yeah,
even if you land
all excuses,
all your shots. No, it's fine. Yeah.
How is the best named gun in Destiny doing? How's the Jade Rabbit these days?
It's shit.
It's shit. It's that bad.
No, that archetype as a whole has no identity. There's no redeeming qualities to it. It is a slow rate of fire.
It's named well.
Yeah,
it's got cool graphics on it.
Yeah, it's cool graphics. You got
the ornament for it.
Anime ornament really cool. For it.
Yeah,
looks like some of the bikes from Akira. It's really cool. But that archetype has no identity. In PvP, it kills in like the same number of shots as the other scout rifles do, except it's slower. It has worse handling, worse stability. The only redeeming quality is that it has good reload speed, which I can get on just about any other scout rifle.
Have you guys got a chance to use the Crimson yet?
Yeah.
I don't have it.
The hand cannon version of the Red Death?
Yeah.
That's cool gun, man. That is super cool. Have you seen the ornament for that?
Mm-hmm. Looks nice.
Yeah, it looks real nice.
How do you guys feel about guns like the Crimson, where it is literally the Red Death, but they changed the model of it? It's a 3-round burst.
At least it's not
the exact same
exactly
effect.
the same.
It is, aside from how you look at it, the exact same weapon as the Red
Death. It
Death.
doesn't have the same distance, right?
Yeah, no, it's definitely
a different gun, but it's the same exotic purpose. It's a 3-round burst.
Actually, it's a little bit different.
This healing effect, so it's a little different.
Did Red Death give you ammo back on kill?
No.
No, Red Death healed you.
Yeah, it just healed you. Yeah, exactly. So this will heal you on any kill, whether it's a crit or not. But then if you get a crit, you get a free magazine of ammo back. Not out of your...
I'm going to run that on my Warlock.
Yo, it's amazing in the raid, okay? On PvP, I was kind of like, if you're going up against the Uriel's Gift or somebody who knows how to aim, you're going to die first. Just how it is.
Knows how to aim.
Just straight up, it's very situational. But if you're going in the raid, like, as long as you hit crits, you're not going to reload your gun, ever. And you just keep on getting health back. So it's actually really great in the raid.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. I hear that the recoil is pretty bad on console.
I've got it on console. I played on PS4 today. I got it on PS4. It was a little hard to hit 3 crits with it.
Is it vertical recoil?
Mostly.
Okay, because if it's horizontal, you can maybe slap a mod on there and
right,
be a little better.
Yeah, put some mods on it. No, I haven't gotten any exotics yet.
No,
I got the Ophidian aspect.
The story, so
yeah. What the hell, Pope? Jeez, casual, man.
I am.
Did you say Ophidian aspects?
I got the Ophidian. Mm-hmm. That was my first.
Can we talk about
exotic.
The difference between Warlock gloves and Hunter gloves?
It is amazing. Once I got the
Mechanic trick sleeves. You can reload a sidearm faster. What do
they also ready faster? They ready faster too.
I'm sorry. They also ready faster.
What if you had an exotic on a Warlock that allowed you to reload any weapon faster?
Everything.
And ready any weapon faster.
Oh.
Yes.
I like the sound of that,
extend your melee?
You know what? It actually makes you feel like you have D1 melee also as a Warlock.
Ooh. I like
these babies are never coming off my Warlock.
It sounds like the Warlocks really needed a buff, and they just
the Warlock armor, Warlock exotic armor. Yeah, they kind of needed a home run in terms of exotic armors because the ones that they had at their disposal prior to this, they're all like 3 out of 5. Nothing stands out like the other classes.
This is the end-all exotics for the Warlock. You get D1 melee range, and every single weapon reloads and readies faster.
That sounds pretty good, Tefty.
I kind of disagree with you a little bit, Holtz. Okay. But this is coming from a hunter's perspective, so disclaimer there. When I raid with T-Rex, this happens no fewer than 10 times that I hear about per raid about how amazing it is to have Winter's Guile fully stacked, and how everything is dead, and how he has full health, and how I have done nothing.
Okay, I'll give it to you. Winter's Guile is stupidly fun as well, but it's like the one exotic, right?
How useful is Winter's Guile going to be during prestige level rating and all that?
I mean, if you can get up to 5 stacks.
Yeah, but you got to be able to melee those ads. And it takes like 4 or 5 melees to actually kill one of those like red health ads because it's prestige.
Okay.
Whereas every single weapon reloads and readies faster, so you can just be swapping, bam, 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 feel like you're playing D1.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the way that they can get us back to the D1 meta. Bring in exotics that make the game.
Bones of Veil.
Yay! Coming soon.
I love buying stuff I've already paid for in other games. It's great.
I don't get why we had this huge wipe of our vaults if we're going to bringing back so many items.
DLC. That's why.
I thought it would just be like a few of maybe like the fan favorites, maybe 5.
Oh no, they got to bring them all back.
They're bringing them.
They're bringing everything back. What is it?
Like Alahorn coming back. That's what I would
soon. Probably September, I would guess. What is it?
I would guess September as well, actually. Yeah.
8 out of 17 exotics, and that's counting the Aeon whatever gloves as 3. 8 out of 17 items are returned. 8.5 if you count the Red Death hand cannon. Yeah. So what's nearly half?
The Red Death hand cannon is different though, because in my opinion, you can have like sister or brother products in the same universe. Like the Red Death manufacturer could have made a Red Death, hand cannon also. I could see those coexisting.
It's a reimagining. I'm allowing this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you count that as a new one, 8 out of 17 are brought back. That is a very...
It does so much cheapen it when it's just like a direct copy. Like the Jade Rabbit is literally the same exact gun.
It's worse.
Because of the sandbox?
Yes. In fact.
It's true, though. Those high-impact scouts, like, it's just, why would you ever use them?
I love them. I love that. Those are like my favorite scout rifles, but they have no point, no purpose in the game. Can we talk about those gloves that you get from the end of the campaign?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're spiky.
They're really spiky. I like that there is a very clear way to see that, the perks on these gloves are active. Great. They're spiky.
Yeah.
Cool. Can I also say that it's probably one of those unexciting perks in the game?
But it makes hunters useful, Patrick. Makes hunters team
you
players.
You have a neutral game now.
Right. They can give my Warlock more grenades.
Yeah, I can make the Warlocks.
We can make the important classes do their important things faster.
There you go.
It would be if that type of an ability was just on hunters latently.
And frankly, if you guys aren't wearing them tomorrow, I'm going to be a little pissed.
I just mailed mine out of spite.
I am never going to take off the fitting aspects. Ever.
Really good.
No, you're a Warlock. You're fine.
Okay,
I'm talking about hunters.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I like that effect. I really like having exotics that, play into the whole team play aspect of the game. You got Rat King, these gloves. There's probably some other ones I'm thinking of, but
how would you have adjusted them to make them more, I don't know, cooler?
Give them an effect to yourself as well, because using an exotic and taking up the exotic slot and it's only going to benefit other people is really boring for the solo player. So
wait a minute. The theory is that your whole fire team is running them, so everybody else is giving you an effect.
Yes. But
it requires teamwork.
It requires teamwork for this one exotic. At least things like Rat King on its own, it has the invisibility when you reload. it's still, I mean, they talked about that. I think it was in the Crucial Radio podcast where they're like, okay, we built this really cool team play aspect into it, but what can we do to make it useful on its own to a solo player? They didn't really do that with these gloves, which is, you know,
in some ways I understand that, but like there should be exotics for different, you know, stripes for different occasions.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So if you're going to go in as a team and you're planning, you're going to be doing the nightfall, and you know you're going for a specific challenge and you want to prep for it. You can sit down and talk about it and decide that this is the best way of doing that. I think that's really cool. I like that idea. I've always been a proponent of these types of mechanics being put into exotics. But I always felt like if they're going to make a piece of an exotic armor be a team type armor, that they have to make it worthwhile for the person to put on, to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Is it as good as Orpheus, Rick?
Right? Or fitting aspects, you know, like I think that's kind of the dominant theme that's happened with Destiny 2's loot right now. There is a couple standouts, and they're usually in the exotic form, but by and large, the loot pool is just it's just really bland with these perks that you don't really think about using. It's almost like upgrading your grocery bag. You know, it's like, oh, well, my grocery bag is a little more sturdier now. What a great perk. I'm going to wake up being really excited about that. You know, it's like nobody cares about your ready and reload speed on a sidearm for a hunter. That's just a throwaway perk, you know, like they need to make things exciting, and D2's general perk pool is just not exciting.
That's what I was kind of hoping to see with this update, was that they'd go a little further with the mods, make the mods a little more exciting, and that the perks on some of the newer weapons would be a little more exciting. We did get some really cool weapons, like that new auto rifle that you get from Zavala. That's a really cool auto rifle. It's got, is it Kill Clip?
Kill Clip on a Jingashi model.
Yeah, it's a really
good.
cool auto rifle.
It's a Uriel's Gift killer.
Kill Clip and Explosive Payload are like two strongest perks in the game, and putting it on, you know, that auto rifle in particular is just really good. I haven't taken it off, honestly. It's really
I've been using my Prometheus lens.
brag about it.
Yeah, I hear that's pretty good too.
It's okay.
It's okay.
So
I wouldn't recommend using it in PvP.
Speaking of great exotics, the Fighting Lion's damage was increased.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the single shot archetype of grenade launchers was also increased. So it got double dipped.
It changed the herd perk and now grants bonus ammo rather than pulling ammo from the player inventory.
Infinite ammo.
So it is actually decent.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I haven't used it yet.
It is cool. It is cool. I recommend that if you brushed it off or deleted it and were like pissed about it, go grab it, bring it in. It's actually a good gun to be using in PvE. I haven't tried it in PvP. You it's just the ability to take off shields with the grenade launcher and switch to your other gun, finish off some ads, and switch back and have a round preloaded into the gun and ready to shoot again. It really makes the combination of your energy slot explosive and your primary. I recommend pairing it up with like a scout rifle or a pulse rifle, something like that.
You know, it synergized really well with that.
What's that?
Fitting aspects. Increase handling.
Oh yeah, why?
Because it would increase the handling as you swap back and forth. Yeah, and
interesting.
Interesting.
Man, I gotta get those. I hope I get those before the raid tomorrow. That is my biggest problem with most of my weapons. Is that, the reload speed is so slow on this. Why?
Yep.
Oh, I can't wait.
And you couple that with Outlaw, and you get to spam that Outlaw super hard with the fitting aspects. And it's still bugged like it was in D1, where sometimes the reload is even quicker than it should be.
Oh,
yeah.
Great.
Yeah, you guys remember that? In D1, you'd like, there'd be times where you'd
be like,
yeah, you'd be like, whoa,
like
that was insanely fast. Yeah.
So
I wanted to ask you guys. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, since you didn't really touch it in PvP, Fighting Lion serves this weird kind of role where it's a grenade launcher, but you treat it like a shotgun. You get real close to somebody, just bop them in the face with it, and you punch them. Exactly. kills
Civilian
them.
aspects will help with that also because of the increased
Because the
melee.
extended melee.
I like the
Hey!
sound of these affiliate aspects.
Perfect.
Man.
So
And they look
you
cool.
hit him with a grenade, punch him with your super melee range because you're a warlock with these gloves.
Yes.
You're also a void walker with devour, so now you're healing
Now
back
you're
up.
back
and
to
you're
full
just
health.
running around, shooting them in the dick, punch them in the face. They're dead. You have full health. You're running around like you're kind of like this mini one-man army almost.
Oh,
That's
great.
been one of my favorite ways to run the Titan lately is with the Syntheseps, where you get that like big lunge for your punch, and then use the bottom tree on the Titan on the Striker Titan that gives you your health back every time you get a kill with a melee. It's like it feels a lot like running Devour because it seems like you always have your health back. You know, you're just constantly in the mix. You're constantly, meleeing people, and you constantly have your health, so you're ready for the next fight.
When I saw people playing like that, I was watching, a couple people.
Destiny Fun Police.
Destiny Fun Police playing like that. I was thinking, wow, finally Titans are in their true intended role of the up close and personal. This is where they live. And then based on this patch and like the exotics that came out and how warlocks are actually going to do it better now. And I'm so excited for that.
This doesn't affect that because the shoulder charge isn't on that tree anyway. So it doesn't affect that play style at all.
No. I'm saying that like when you put them up together, the warlock one would be better suited for that because of the health, how you get your health back.
Devour is pretty good.
The
Yeah.
immediate health back.
Versus the Titan one, right?
And you got Blink, so you can get in there even faster.
Oh my god!
So
Faster.
it's they're just gonna do Titans better than Titans should do Titans. Is what I'm saying. Again,
Warlocks
damn
do every
warlocks.
class
Ikora-
better than they do themselves.
Ikora is like, hold my beer to Zavala every single time.
Yeah, Zavala's like, did you just see what I did? I went in there with the thing, and then I did the thing, and I punched him, and then I got my. And she's like, hold my beer.
So
I wanted to ask you guys about the way that we're playing Destiny now. Since the patch, I found that there's been a huge change to what I'm actually doing while I'm playing Destiny because I want to get those forged weapons and because I want to get the new ornaments for all my armor. Is I've suddenly been doing all the activities that I've never done before in Destiny since vanilla. I'm running strikes a lot. I'm doing. I'm doing patrols, but I was doing patrols before. PvP, I'm getting rewarded for PvP. It's like every different activity that you could be doing in Destiny right now. You start getting tokens. Don't get me wrong, but there is a reason to be doing them now. Strikes were basically off the table for me. And there's absolutely no reason to do strikes before.
Yep.
And now I'm in there for hours on end grinding strikes. And I got to say, I think it's a huge improvement to the game.
Yeah, I
agree.
Also, the heroics are definitely more fun than just regular.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they're more rewarding too.
I've not noticed any difference in playing a heroic versus a regular. The rewards are obviously much greater. The chest gives you more tokens, and I've gotten legendaries way more frequently. But maybe it was because I was playing in a pre-made with two people who I know are very good. I was still on complete, autopilot. Yeah, like it did not feel like a different.
Ew. Is that a Skype problem?
Well, just
We are having Skype issues,
yes.
guys. There goes the Char.
Everyone just started fast forward.
Uh-oh.
I think it's something to do with Char on Char's end.
Char was like, I'm out. We're going to have to pause real quick because this is not working. I'm not dropping any frames, so I don't think it's my internet. Yeah. Okay, let's just give it a pause. Give it a pause. Let everybody get in.
hello.
Pope is
there
still
Video.
Pope isn't actually freeze.
Pope is pretending to be frozen.
Yep.
I can see him breathing
Yeah.
through his mouth like he always does. There we go.
Let me know when you guys want to use Discord video. I installed Skype.
Discord video, unfortunately,
exclusively for-
doesn't do what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Which that's the reason why we're not using it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it also had some problems before, but yeah. Okay, so Char. Rewind just a little bit for that thought.
Right. Anyway, the short version was heroic strikes feel the same to me.
Okay.
They don't have modifiers. with a team of competent players, you can still autopilot them.
Sure.
They are more rewarding because they're the heroic version that gives you more tokens and more engrams, so woohoo. But it did not feel like a new experience to me. And yeah, it's great that this Forge is encouraging us to do things we wouldn't normally do or things we didn't feel like doing, like patrols or the strikes or the public events or PvP. But the Forge, by design, is limited. Once we have all of these guns from the Forge, that incentive to do anything is gone.
That's true, but there is the backup system, and which is limited as well of getting the ornaments. The ornaments, if you want to get the ornaments for, all of the strike specific gear, then the trial specific gear, then theoretically for the raid specific gear, like each thing will have
New Monarchy ornaments.
They look good, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Ornaments look great. I've already unlocked, I think, 3 of the Vanguard ones just by playing, and I wasn't even paying attention to it.
There's an improvement there, and it certainly doesn't go far enough. But it's a giant improvement in the fact that I'm doing strikes today.
Yeah,
Same.
for sure.
And I was not, I had
a
no
reason.
motivation.
I'm doing adventures. I never did adventures before. Speaking of which, the adventures in Curse of Osiris are really good.
They are really good.
Like I thoroughly enjoy them, especially on heroic with the modifiers. It's actually a little bit challenging, which is nice.
Yeah, they were difficult for sure.
I've been enjoying them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Briar, the same type of thing. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing now that I just, for the most part, would be like, I don't think I'm going to step into there. I'm getting different stuff. I'm also collecting the things for the forge weapons. And while the forge weapons aren't the most exciting in terms of perks and what they give, it is really cool to get these weapons that actually look like raid weapons, essentially. Like, the designs on them are raid quality. They look very cool. And
yeah, they do.
I wish the perks were a little bit more exciting. I wish there was something that says if you kill a Vex with it, it goes nuclear, and wipes the map or some crap like that, or has a chance of dropping a nuke from killing a Vex in PvE, because that's some crazy perk. But they're all safe perks, once again, in the game, but they look really cool.
I really like that hand cannon. Have you guys tried out that hand cannon? I think it's called Queen, King, Jack. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I was using it in PvP. I was enjoying it.
I really like that. I mean, there's nothing like special. It doesn't have explosive rounds like Better Devils, and it doesn't have there's nothing like in the perks that make it say, oh yeah, this thing is going to be OP. It just feels good, and it's accurate, and it's got a lot of range to it. It just is it's a nice hand cannon.
Yeah, it's good. I dig it. I was using that in the Pulse in PvP. At first I was like, this is probably going to be whatevs. And I started using them. I was like, this is actually good. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wish the Forge itself had more to offer.
Same.
Because the Forge, by design, has a limited engagement. It has a point where you will just be done with it for the rest of eternity.
Well, there's supposed to be some hidden stuff in there, too.
Maybe. But from my current understanding is what I'm going by is this is what I've been told. This is how Bungie explained it to me. So to my current understanding of the Forge, there are these guns you can unlock by doing some grindy things, and when you're done with them, that's, as far as I'm aware, that's it. And I feel like the Forge presented an opportunity to be more, where you could have almost created this grind where, hey, now you have a reason to do everything, because everything is giving you materials, and these materials can be used to do things. So what if I could continue to grind out these materials, and let's say I need 4 of these, the blue quality ones. So the ones that take a while, you got to get 10 greens or get lucky and get a blue. You take those materials, you throw in a gun of choice, or even just one of the ones you've made from the Forge, and it spits out another one at me that's got randomly rolled perks on it. That fits, in my opinion, to the lore of the Vex wanting to simulate everything. Sure. What if using Vex technology, I was able to recalibrate my gun to simulate different possibilities? Why can't I then just have a reason to grind this game forever, take the one gun I want a perfect roll on, keep throwing hard to get materials at it over and over and over, and eventually get that roll that I want?
Yeah, I agree.
And then move on to the next gun after that. And suddenly I have a reason to play this game 8 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So I agree with most of that. I don't think that the random roll side of it is the best solution, because I know a lot of people say that random rolls would fix a lot of the things of wanting reasons to do things. In my opinion, I think random roll is just a band-aid. But what would have been really interesting is that if there was the way the system that you're setting up where you put in other legendary weapons, maybe there was a combo in there to unlock certain versions of these weapons that nobody knows until they've done the right combo and shares on Reddit. So like you got to have 2 Uriel's gifts and a bad news along with 5 radiolarian fluid, and it produces this weapon. And that's the discovery, you know, and then, yeah.
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like the Forge could have done something more.
I
Agreed.
agree.
And then another thing that you could tie into that is the mod system currently is very lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
People aren't happy with the way mods behave. They don't feel like they're making me more powerful. Weapon mods, yeah, you can change your element on your gun, which is really cool. I'll give you that. But like, it doesn't really change the way that weapon plays. And then armor mods just seem to enhance my weapons. Like, I get slightly faster reload, or I get a little bit more counterbalance.
Yeah.
What you could maybe do is you collect these materials, then you throw them into the Forge, and suddenly you've been given a mod that can change the perk. So, like, let's say you have your gun that has a mod slot where whatever you put in this mod slot gives it its perk. So in that slot currently is your outlaw mod. You could then replace that with a kill clip mod, or a whatever mod, an explosive rounds or whatever. And then you're grinding to create these mods that you slot into your gun and manually build the roll that you want. So there's no longer a chase for the random god roll of luck. It's the grind, build what you want by collecting materials from specific activities, or you could even go full MMO and have these materials drop from specific bosses. Be like, I gotta kill this strike boss 5 times to get his material.
Gotta kill Callus so many times.
Yeah.
Get a certain material.
Exactly. Then when I have those materials, arrange everything the way that I want it to be.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to quickly point out to our listeners, Breyer got disconnected in Skype. I have no idea if he's coming back.
Oh no, I kicked him out of the call.
Oh,
I was
savage.
just like, I was like, you're done, Breyer. That's enough of you. Enough defending warlocks and turning your back on your brother Titans. And then I just booted him from the call. So
I thought Pope just wanted more real estate on my monitor.
that's true. That too.
Yep.
That too.
Yeah,
I got a big thing I want to talk about before we move on to anything else.
Okay.
Okay. So probably the biggest thing to come out of this expansion is the activities being moved up in light level and thus locking people out who had previously had access to some of these levels of activities. Prestige Leviathan cannot be done anymore by someone who 24 hours before from the expansion could do it. They had already paid for it. They had access to it. Now they have to pay $20 to be able to run that. Same thing for Prestige Nightfall. I'm going to assume Trials, probably, because that does grant end-game level rewards. I'm just assuming, we don't know yet. That hasn't come out.
Might be on one of these new maps.
Yeah, it could be on one of the new maps. So there you go. That could be a reason why it's locked out. As well as the Heroic Strike playlist is also, you can't gain access to that. This is bad.
That's not.
It's
cool.
really
I find
bad.
it super strange, especially when I'm looking at the Acrius quest, right?
Yep.
To get the what's it called?
The
Ornament.
skin.
There's the
Ornament,
ornament,
yes.
but you can't
To get
do.
the
You
ornament.
can't even.
But you can't do it. That's what's so crazy is that someone could be like, next week I'm gonna go run the Prestige and get my ornament from my good old Acrius, and it's like, oh, now I can't do that.
I can't confirm this. It was posted on Reddit. I can't confirm it, but apparently you can't run the strike that you have to do for it as well, because that's technically prestige level.
Really?
Really?
Did that get leveled up too? That
I can't
think it did
confirm that.
I think it got boosted up to 335, which means that you have to be a higher. So the other thing too is that they made it so you can't get to level 25 either. You have to pay for the DLC, right, to go above above level 20.
So you wouldn't be able to get Acris at all if you didn't get the DLC.
Oh my god, that's
the point.
That's bad.
I think
dumb.
People are confusing the issue here. We wanted with expansions, light level and difficulty to get harder, right? We wanted things to increase and progress in difficulty, but there should be a way that you pay for this new content and then you move up in light level with it. But there should also be ways of increasing your light level within the game that they've purchased to be able to access some of this end game content that is not specific to the DLC. It leaves out, it basically gates out, it cuts off some of the content that you already had, now you don't have.
Yeah.
It's just that doesn't sit right with people.
It's really slimy because it's a $60 title that's shipped as a game for the $60, and they treat it more like a live service. And if they had marketed it as a live service that's going to evolve and some things are going to go away, then I think it would be a different conversation. But because they're selling it as a $60 title that gets these DLCs that then simulate a live service essentially, or a payment service, kind of like WoW, then you create a huge disconnect. Because on console, well, if you haven't done it in 3 months, well, maybe you're just not interested and you're not going to do it in 3 months, period. But on PC, people just got this in October, played it for a month.
That's true.
And then don't have access to this end-game content anymore? Like, they did not think about this.
It's very strange to have. So with Nightfalls and stuff, like not being able to do the Nightfall, that kind of makes sense because there's a new strike involved that's in the rotation. So, okay, I get it. But with the raid, that's literally something that they were playing, yesterday, before the DLC came out. They were playing that exact thing. So that's what feels really bad.
I disagree, though, Watts, with the understanding of the Nightfall thing.
Well, no, I'm just saying that actually has some kind of reasoning behind it. With this, I don't feel like it does.
I get it, but I remember back in the way that it was done before is that just playlists, you could... Yeah. You had options to play the original playlist of
and that's
vanilla.
What we should have. They needed to add, like, you could have the normal raid, you could have hard mode, which would be essentially the old prestige mode for those people who haven't done prestige yet, and then you have prestige, which is what we're going to be getting for prestige.
Right, exactly. Now
I think that would be...
It would be so easy to just add a layer of difficulty on top of it. Exactly. So what you have is, you have the normal, which was 270, then you had prestige, which was 300. Just add a new box, prestige parentheses Osiris 330. Leave regular prestige, leave those activities at 300, let vanilla players continue to run them, but because they're capped at 300, their rewards are capped at 300.
Yep, that's right.
So for me, owning the Osiris DLC, I can go play the 330 version, enemies are higher level, rewards are higher level. Vanilla players still have their vanilla content, I have a new higher level version that is still relevant to my continued experience of the game, while vanilla players aren't losing out on anything.
And the Acris strike
it's so easy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the Acris stays at 300.
Acris doesn't need to go up at all.
It's just crazy that they didn't look at this and shipped it the way it is right now. And now we got a whole... Now they have to have this as one of their headlines that's going around, is they're locking out vanilla content.
I know.
It's just...
Tefty, I get that feeling a lot with Bungie.
Right?
It's that I can't believe they shipped this. Look at the Prometheus lens. How did that, in its current state in PvP, make it to the live servers?
Yeah.
How did that get through, if there even was any testing?
Well, I mean,
they knew about it in the TWAB. They said they knew about it, and they had a fix that's coming in. Oh, hey, Briar.
Hey, Briar's
back.
I missed you.
All right.
I did not.
Was that a computer crash? Is your recording fucked or?
I don't know what it was. Just Skype.
Oh, it was Skype. Okay.
I'm a little
they used to have
my
a
screen
problem
is smaller.
3 years ago. Yeah. So I had lost my train of thought. Whatever.
Every time I wake up now and I hear that Bungie's in the headlines or something, I'm like,
it's never a good thing.
What happened?
Yeah.
It's never a good thing.
It's
I'm never
crazy.
excited to see it.
It's crazy to think that they didn't think about the prestige getting locked away with this. And there's a whole bunch of refund type of thing going on Reddit, and people talking about getting the refunds because they locked out that content. And I don't know. Like I said, there's a disconnect with how they marketed the game and how they're treating it. They marketed it as a $60 title that comes with this stuff, but they're treating the game like a live service that has a monthly fee that gets updated.
Which I think is a great topic to segue into. Another thing, possibly, in my opinion, the biggest issue that we have. Eververse trading company.
Tess.
Her name's Tess.
We like
she has a
her
name.
Tess.
Tess is currently, selling the Bright Engrams contain everything that used to be a thing that we would grind for in Destiny 1, be it ships, sparrows, shaders, ghost shells, everything that
She
was
has all
some
the good
sort
stuff.
of incentive to do activities.
Yes, cool stuff.
Customizable options that were gameplay reasons for us to play the game.
Ghosts.
It's not there. It's all behind a random loot box. Not even where it used to be we could buy the emote that we wanted at any time.
Yeah.
Gone are those days. It's just a random loot box now. And seeing us in this state with the end game the way it is, where we have very little reason to grind for anything, and having like over 100 new items restocked in the Eververse that we have the privilege to go fucking grind for again. And and
it's grinding. It's grinding without a purpose. That's the problem. I don't mind the grind, but it's the I get a Bright Engram and I go to Tess and I'm grinding to rank up, and I go back in there and the randomness of it is what.
I see the term thrown around a lot, and I hate, becoming a meme, but Jesus Christ, does the spend game that captures it perfectly, in my opinion.
It is a shame. It's a shame because there's so much cool stuff there, and we're lacking so much end game that it would be wonderful if we just copy paste this, put it somewhere in the game.
There's a ton of stuff in Everest that can be available through that Eververse Bright Engram, whatever they call it now. Illuminated. That can still be there, but I really wish there was a way that you could achieve it in the game.
That's the biggest thing that's missing. All the stuff that's in there, like they could just like you said, keep the illuminated engrams like they are. So if somebody does want to spend some money, they can go right ahead. Yeah. But move huge portions of that content into places that don't get played. So the adventures. Specific ones drop in EDZ adventures. Specific ones drop in Nessus adventures. Specific ones drop from heroic strikes.
Have a chance of Tefty. Have a chance of dropping in that.
Exactly.
Right. So if I knew that the Lair, whatever they call it, the dungeon. Sorry, I'm just drawing a blank.
Hdr Worlds.
No, the activities in open spaces. The
Lost Sector.
Lost Sectors.
Lost Sectors. I'm sorry. So on Mercury, if you go and do the Lost Sector, it has a chance, or something like it, or maybe a harder activity. You have a chance of getting the exotic ghost shell for Mercury. It's. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who doesn't know about it, but there is. Yeah.
Oh.
So
I didn't know
anyway,
is it in the game or just the database?
Yeah, we've seen the database thing.
Because there's a lot of things that have been in the database that never made it to the game.
Yep.
Okay, so it's supposed to be anyway, if there is a way that you can achieve it by an activity and there's a chance of it, then I'd love to go in there and grind for it, man. But you still get the opportunity to buy illuminated engrams and you get them as you rank up, but they should be that's like a shitload of content that could have been in the game.
It honestly
you guys
should have
think
been in the
this
game.
is tied to why we have to go to the tower to decrypt all legendary engrams now, is to just get us used to the fact that these aren't rewards that drop at the end of activities. These are something that you go and decrypt an engram to get.
Oh, wow. I didn't think about that, Briar. That kind of makes me uneasy.
That's one of the worst feelings about Destiny 2,
Briar.
honestly.
You just got heavy.
I just thought
that was
were
the heavy thing.
I really don't like that everything is an engram or a faction tournament now.
Sucks.
Because there's no exciting drops in this game anymore. It's, oh, hey, an exotic. You don't get excited about that. You get anxious because it's like, oh, what if this is a repeat? It's not going to be something new or the thing that I want. And then when you do open it up and it happens to be what you wanted, it's more of a relief than it is excitement. You know, how many of you guys remember when your first Galahorn dropped?
Yeah.
Yep.
You remember where it was, what time of day it was, and what
who
you were
was
doing.
pissed off as well.
Who was there with you? Who was angry that you got it and not them?
I was alone, and I got the free chest in the Dark Below raid. That was my first Galahorn. There you go.
Right. And now, do you remember your Merciless, or did you buy it because it was the first one? That's a bad example.
I know I already had it. But I guarantee
you don't remember where you got it.
I don't remember. No, I know where I got it from. It was from a fucking engram that I turned into Zerb.
You got it at the tower.
Or
you got it at the tower, yeah.
Rule, but I can't tell you how I got said engram. The act of getting the engram and then turning it in, you turn so much stuff in, you don't remember the act of getting the engram. They're two separate things now, and you do one of them so much, the turning in stuff, that there's no unique memories of getting loot. I can tell you, I ran so many people through getting their getting the black spindle, and the biggest thing was getting the ship, like trying to get the ship from that as well, and
get it.
Yeah, like getting having that stuff in the game where you run activities.
That was the stuff people wanted. Was this?
That's
really
in
and it
Eververse.
seems tiny, right? It seems so small that people would even play for a shader, a ghost, a ship, anything. It seems tiny, but having someone have a reason to play that is such a big deal.
An exotic emote, the one that they just even the sweeper bot one, or the mic drop. Or the selfie one. Oh my God, the selfie one. You imagine if it was available in a specific activity.
Those 100% should be callous rewards.
They should be in, yes.
100% should be a small 100%. Chance of getting
Sweeper
an exotic
bot definitely
emote.
Should be.
Sweeper bot should be a callous reward for sure.
It's crazy thinking about it, honestly. Like,
the new ship and the new ghosts that look like they came from Mercury. Those should be available on Mercury, right?
Yeah.
They should be a Infinite Forest reward.
And the only reason why I can think about it now that we're into conspiracy theories and Briar gets my mind thinking that direction. You're going to the tower, you're taking your bright engram, and you're going, you pass the postmaster where you find out that you didn't get what what you wanted. It was just stuff in there, and you do your cryptarch thing, and then you go over to test because you have a bright engram that you get during that play time, and you decrypt it, and it comes up with you don't get what you want, but then you see all those cool things that are in there, and then you're at that point of sale. Now you're all the way at that point of sale where why don't you just spend $5 and get some more?
Well, I mean, dude, it's exactly like Call of Duty, the new Call of Duty that's out. There's a fucking achievement in the game to watch people open loot boxes in the play space.
Incentivize you to watch them to do it. That way you see what they get from it, and then you want to do it.
What the hell?
I don't even want to get into the job opening at Bungie for like an
investment
designer for this kind of stuff. Eververse. Because look,
did it specifically say for Eververse?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was for bright engrams.
The language is very clear.
Essentially, a gameplay designer for investments.
Yeah.
They want you to make cool shit that people want, so that people spend money.
And that's the cool shit that honestly that you guys are absolutely hitting the nail on the head. That is that cool shit that should be in the game 100%. That we should be grinding for.
I want to chase it.
Chasing
Let me chase it.
100%.
Or build it or put it together.
It's unbelievable, honestly.
We hit it. We unlock a secret chest in in Mercury where Brother Vance is, and you get you get an engram, a legendary engram, and two tokens.
I think I got 5, but yeah.
Whatever, but it should be unlocking some emote or like some cool thing that is specific to that area.
That would be cool.
Right.
But no, you better believe with a DLC that comes out, we're going to get a bunch of reskinned weapons now. But you better believe Eververse is going to be completely restocked with new models, new skins, and exotic ghosts that are strictly better than the legendary versions of the ghosts. I didn't even get to that. The exotic ghost perks are
10% XP
increase. Yeah.
like 10% XP. Every single one of the perks is a flat upgrade from what the legendary versions are, which incentivizes you to further grind from that shit. Well, and it's
but again, you can still earn these engrams in game, and if you have 9 characters, you get 9 easy engrams each week. Sorry, 3 characters. Sure. You get 9 engrams each week.
Playing this shit on 3 different platforms.
I don't think that's fair though, even with well rested, because the system is designed to give you a ton up front and then slowly trickle them and make it more and more painful as you go on. You know, that's why with every loot system does this. Overwatch does it too, but every time. When you are initially doing it, your experience bar is this big. Then the next time it gets a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger until you're now at 160,000 experience to get 1 bright engram. And you've got well rested, which gives you 3 at the beginning, but then it just comes to a screeching halt. It is designed to reignite that feeling of this is cool stuff. I like
and
cool
this
stuff.
and this is the way you get it.
I want it. This is the way you get it.
You get it through random rolls, right?
You get it through random garbage, yeah. And then you can either grind out, if I'm lucky or I'm like going hard for 7-8 hours in a day, I can get 1. Or I can go buy them. And then not only is it that's where all the cool stuff is that there no longer exists that equivalent in the activities. In Destiny 1, you had raid sparrows, you had raid ships, you had raid ghost shells, you had these really cool raid shaders that you only got for either beating the raid or by later in the game completing a full set of armor, which then unlocked it as a shader for you. You still have the raid shaders, but you can get a raid shader without even doing the raid now. And there's outside of that, there really isn't a place to get really cool shaders. Mercury has a few that are decent.
Well, yeah, no, they definitely expanded that, which I was happy to see, because both in the factions they put ghosts, ships, and sparrows in the factions now. They were not in their season 1; they're in their season 2 now, and there is a lot more legendary shaders that you can get out in the wild instead of just popping them from Illuminating Engrams. So I was happy about that for sure. Like even Vanguard, Crucible, there's new shaders that they brought with Season 2 that you can get from that stuff. So, like, it's almost like there was none of that in Season 1, and then we're like, what the hell? Season 2, they introduced some of it, but it is blatantly obvious that all the cool stuff that we actually want is locked behind Illuminated Engrams that you have to go to test for. You can't decrypt them over at Rahul. You're forced to go over to test, decrypt those, and if you didn't get the skin or the exotic ghost that you wanted, there's the option to pay money for it.
And then there's also a time limit as to how long those are actually going to be available. So, for instance, if you really wanted the salt emote and it was coming to be, the end of season 1, you were faced with a time crunch. Like, I can keep grinding all day and hope to get a couple more bright engrams, or I could pay $20, $30, $40 in RNG my way until I finally get it, which could cost you $10. It could cost you $100.
Also, if they are selling it, then you could dismantle any of those Eververse items for actual dust and then spend the dust on it. If it's available. Yeah, but like on the last week, they made salt and ramen.
All right, so yeah, pick a different one then. Flip the table.
If you missed yours and it wasn't for sale,
then you're screwed.
And you missed that window.
Screwed by RNG.
You didn't have enough. You didn't have enough of the bright dust because the one that you wanted was being sold really early on in the expansion, and you hadn't built it up long enough.
That was me. I wanted the Takanome wings. Didn't have enough to buy it on PC when it came around. It never showed up again because that was just how the window worked. I really wanted the Takanome wings because it was a cool looking ship. It had really cool lore behind it. And I was put in a position which was spend money or you don't have it.
Yeah.
And that's not a good sales pitch to me.
No.
I've not spent any money on silver because I don't like that deal. That is not a good deal to me as a consumer. I don't like that all these really cool things that we want in a game that's built where you want to get cool things. You want to make your Guardian unique.
You want
and look
to
as good
them.
as possible. You want to collect them. You want these customization options. In Destiny 1, I changed my shader literally every day. Now, the only way to get those things that we were earning by playing the game is to grind mindlessly and slowly trickle them or spend money.
I guess I'm at a point where I'm I'm lamenting that we're not seeing another approach to this stuff. Right?
We need another approach, and it's really obvious. And they can lock down Eververse. They can keep it the way it is, but all of that content in there, all of it, because it's a paid DLC, it's a paid game, right? This isn't a free to play. We're not playing, a Fortnite or any other free to play game.
Speaking of Fortnite, they just announced 50 versus 50. Sorry.
Finish your thought, Pope.
Yeah. So I get the concept, but for a free to play game. But this is a paid game.
Yeah.
All that stuff should be available in the game, and not and through. And here's the sticking point, because people are going to say it's still available in the game because you get the bright engrams and you can go decrypt them. That's not what I'm saying. It should be available to be played as a reward in the game.
In the end game, that's missing.
Through the end game, that is missing. So
that's what makes it worse, is that we're lacking an end game.
Yeah, it's like, man.
If we had an amazing end game, I guarantee people will be like, get more cool stuff from Eververse, but I can get cool stuff from that game too.
They wouldn't mind. Exactly. If all this stuff was sprinkled throughout the content that we can already play right now, then people would be chasing it.
That's right. And that's the rub. I mean, it feels like it was designed for the game. I don't want to and then it just got, okay, this is our Eververse prizes and our incentive for that. And you're like, like every time you open up a box or you get a reward and it's just, it's just the tokens and a blue, there should have been like a third thing there that was something that is now in Eververse.
You can't look at the ship that they showed at TwitchCon. You can't look at that ship. It was designed apparently for the Dawning. You can't look at that and tell me that was not a raid ship. That ship just 100% reeks of Callus.
Mm-hmm.
It's so I don't know. I hate like playing into conspiracy theories and stuff, but when we're at this stage, it's like yeah.
So here we are. You've got some more stuff that's written in on the patch notes. Anything else that we want to highlight from that, or do we want to finish it up? There's some 4K HDR support that's pretty exciting for people, right?
That's currently bugged and not actually in the game.
Okay. All right. So that was something cool to talk about.
I hear the Xbox One X looks really great in 4K.
Okay.
Heard that. So if you are an owner or you were thinking about it and you play exclusively on Xbox, I hear it does look great because it is native 4K on Xbox, not whatever it is on PS4 where they adaptively do 4K.
And another cool thing that's happening is our friends from the Destiny Item Manager, a quality of life change. Mm-hmm. Bungie opened up their API to allow third-party, content creators to, like Destiny Item Manager, to pull from Postmaster.
Yeah.
And I know that that's just a simple quality of life thing, but I think for a lot of us, that's going to be the more functionality with Destiny Item Manager and the other apps, Ishtar Collective, and there's a couple other ones, right? Ishtar Commander, I'm sorry. And those being able to be more flexible with that is a win for all of us.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah.
The raid layer.
Yes.
It's happening tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. I'm so excited to watch it, guys, while I'm at work.
What's in there.
Same.
Yeah, me too.
We've been talking about all this loot that's not in the game, that's in Eververse, and reality is tomorrow we're going to get another set of loot that's in the game that we want.
I want to see raining awesome loot.
Yeah.
I really hope it's fun to play.
Same.
Because that is the chance to be the saving grace of what has been generally perceived as a very bad DLC. But if the raid layer is really well done, if it's really fun, if the encounters are engaging, and the rewards you appropriately for them, I feel like that would be a really huge sigh of relief to be like, they got something really right. Destiny raids have always had these really special moments for me, especially the first time you go through them. Mm-hmm. And I really hope that the raid layer is able to capture that similar feeling of this world of mystery, figuring things out. There's actual mechanics to them.
Char, are you going for worlds first?
I mean, we'll always try our best with our group.
Who's your group?
The same group it's always been. It's me, Gathalion, T-Rex, Professor Broman, Gunny629, and Rebel Eyes.
Cool.
So
good luck.
yeah, we'll be. Thank you.
I mean, second place is probably the best you're going to be allowed to get, since my co-hosts here are going to be, also.
And we always do
playing
very
tomorrow.
well.
And I mean, they're usually up there in the top 100.
We don't get distracted
We're just
looking
shooting
at our
to
new
show
stuff.
up on time, not necessarily finish first, but actually start on time.
Starting on time would be a good start to set us up for our future record.
What do you guys think it's going to be? Let's get some hype going. Like, what do you guys think it's about?
We've seen a tiny bit, right? We saw I just saw fire. I just saw what I
thought that was California.
Oh, that's
topical. Too soon.
Not bad.
My brother lives 5 miles away from the fire front, and
I know a lot of people. That
the wind is blowing in the wrong direction, in the right direction. It's blowing away from him, but yeah.
But when we saw the trailer and we saw a little bit of the Wraith thing, it was just super fiery.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's going to be really cool. I didn't expect that at all. I expected it just to kind of look more so like what we've seen
like the
in the
underbelly?
Wraith.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This is like, well, what is this?
Same.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, when I saw that too,
I have a hope.
I
have a hope in the back of my head that it's okay. We've done the challenges. We've done what Callus has prepared for us, but now we're starting to actually delve deeper into the Leviathan and do the things that aren't necessarily prepared for us, right? It's like now we're actually starting to fight deeper into this enormous ship and work our way toward Callus, because I do suspect DLC 2 is going to be more Leviathan raid lair, or they already said it.
They said, yeah.
So like as we go, the story of the raid progresses, our journey through the raid progresses, and it's like this multi-layered raid. It's actually kind of a cool idea in that.
I think it's a great
What are you guys
concept if they
excited for?
execute it properly. And it looks like it's not just like I said, it's not just going to be into the underbelly with a few or with like the same stuff that we've seen. There's legit like a planet being eaten in the middle there.
I know
right?
Nessus is being eaten as we speak.
I don't think it's Nessus.
Yeah, it is.
No.
That's where the Leviathan is.
No. Lore wise,
has the Leviathan started eating Nessus, or is it just approached
No.
I think
lore wise,
the Leviathan might be a different planet.
Yeah, lore wise, Nessus was only going to get eaten if we lost, if we didn't complete.
So I guess
the
that's
challenge.
what we were looking at then, right? We were looking at a world being eaten when we saw the fire.
That's a world getting digested by the Eater of Worlds, and then there's another thing that's
That
like
could be cool.
Yeah, then there's another thing with the purple stuff. It's like the purple stuff is liquid and all that. Like this looks very different from what I was imagining. I was like, oh, they're just going to put in some dungeon stuff, and we're going to be like,
it's just going to be a different room.
Yeah, some different rooms. But no, it's like it looks like it's a crafted raid, honestly, that is probably going to be the size of Crota.
In one of the images that you see, in one of the still images, you see a piece of a planet, right? And it looks like it's being broken apart and consumed by the Eater of Worlds, right? And on it, if you zoom in on it, you can see trees and shrubbery and like etched out landscape. So it looks to me like we are actually going to be participating. Some part of it is going to be on these pieces of planet that are being sucked up into the Leviathan.
That sounds unsafe.
Our job description is pretty unsafe.
Yeah, I mean,
do we need to get Ocean
that is in the middle of getting destroyed?
Yeah,
Ocean.
Would that make you happy?
Yeah, exactly.
That is not wheelchair safe, please. Okay. So we've got a really interesting concept. We know it's going to be raid. Any other like wild theories that you guys want to throw out there?
I really don't.
I mean, speculate. Just like
I think it'd be cool if we saw other races on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vex.
Like this Eater of Worlds thing. Okay, so it's consumed other planets, right? And so in its mouth are like the partially digested parts of others like planets of other species, and we could literally run into like other races.
I guess
maybe there would be a planet
thinks,
of coasters.
My brain thinks too much science, and like if a planet is being sucked up like that, you're not going to have tangible pieces or life forms that are like, oh wow, my world's getting destroyed. No, this is weird,
Let me just hug this tree real quick. I'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
all right, fine.
I don't think that we're going to be on pieces of other planets. That sounds like a cool idea. That maybe they've got biomes that they've pulled apart from planets that they could store for research or something. That would be nuts, honestly. But I think it's going to be more like we're passing by and this is going to be in the background of a fight that happens. Seeing a planet getting destroyed, fight some ads or something, do a puzzle, and then move on to the next part where the liquid purple is going on. And maybe that's where the boss is the liquid purple is some sort of fuel for the Leviathan itself.
It's it's like the gasoline of it, or the thing that runs the Cabal Empire.
Yeah, like maybe
it's their life force, if you will.
It's like their gold.
Yeah,
their riches, you know.
Yeah, they have to consume more planets and more things to keep their world-eating machine moving.
And I have to give more sick segues into these blue microphones and headphones. No doubt you noticed them. Some of the iconic gear that Blue creates. Blue's award-winning products are the driving force behind professional internet creators and Twitch streamers and musicians and
internet creators.
Internet creators. Al Gore himself probably uses these.
Blue microphone.
Yes, that joke probably went over the head of some of our listeners. Not old enough. Ha! To get us with popular microphone. And if you want to learn more about it, you can go to bluemic.com, where I speak into one right now, not a Yeti, just a Blue mic.
I can confirm.
I would have the headphones on, but they're like across the room, and I have a blanket on right now. And
you sound really cozy.
I'm very cozy.
He's naked.
Is it cold?
By the way.
Let me find my phone. It is.
Just yes or no, if it's cold.
I don't know. It's 43. It's 43 degrees outside.
Does 43 degrees make it scientifically confirmed cold?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah, that's pretty cold.
Chilly.
I mean,
I'd say that's
for California, you might as well be like in the Arctic. I mean,
yeah,
that's cold for us.
Yeah, exactly.
It was. I think it was about 28 this morning when I woke up.
Whoa.
It's very cold over here.
That's cold because it's below freezing.
Yeah, it was. There was frost everywhere.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, I should have worn my blue headphones as earmuffs, because not only do they have stellar sound quality, but they also provide great insulation from other sound and also the cold.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's one of the worst ad reads you've done. No, not the worst. Second best. Second worst. I don't know. Sorry, I was trying to be positive.
Judgmental.
I apologize.
One thing that I hope that comes from the Raid Lair guys is really awesome loot that we want.
Yes. Loot.
Have you
I
seen
want
the
it to
ornaments?
drop. I want a finish encounter loot drop, not tokens. Thank
Yes, I'd like less tokens.
It's gonna be tokens.
Most likely we're gonna get tokens. Yeah.
you. No.
The ornaments do look really
No.
cool. I've seen those. Also, apparently they were bugged in that it's not the Leviathan raid challenges or Leviathan prestige that you complete. It's apparently like they screwed it up. Surprise that it's shipped that way. It's like,
Who would have
surprise,
seen
guys.
that
I know,
happen?
right? So supposedly it's at the actual Hdr Worlds that's going to unlock those ornaments,
So you have
rightfully
to
so.
complete Hdr World's prestige.
Yeah. So I think they said it in the notes.
I think you'll have to do the challenge on prestige.
Oh no! I thought it was just do the challenges.
I could be wrong. I really wish it were do the challenge on prestige, because especially with the emblems from doing challenges with regular Leviathan, there's a very big difference between doing the dog challenge on normal mode and prestige mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I feel like there should be a reward to reflect doing it on prestige, even if it were as simple as flipping the colors on the emblem itself. Be like, well, this is the prestige edition where the icon is colored and the background is gold, or even a cooler looking emblem. Just something to give the players who are in that tiny population who do the hardest of the hard activities a prestige challenge mode.
Char,
I feel like that should be rewarded.
How is Pope going to collect that achievement?
You're going to log onto his account, Tefty.
No, I will not.
Yes, how will I get it? You know what? As a casual player, what is available to me right now, I'm really happy. If there is stuff that is for the harder activities that falls for players that can beat it, I think that's absolutely, worth their effort and time. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. what I've always said is the casual player should have access to feeling that they're having a rewarding experience while they're playing the game during those limited times that they can play it. I think they've done that. They've nailed it. Boom. The average player,
casual, hell yeah,
nailed. I mean, not nailed. Well, the average player got it. It was the tourist got, taken care of. You know, there's a McDonald's on every corner. There's there's quick and easy access to
Where's
restrooms.
my hipster coffee shop?
Right. There's a hipster coffee shop for testing.
No, I'm saying where's my hipster coffee shop?
But where's the hipster coffee shop? You know,
I need some
not getting
rare
it.
beans that are roasted from some remote location.
Some kind of coast.
Yeah, a coast of some sort.
Yes.
Of kings, in fact.
Yes.
There's some King's Coast where you can get some rare coffee. Anyway,
I need some try-hard beans,
has
damn
been
it.
pooped out of an animal's ass at some point. I don't want any part of it.
They have that
you're
available,
missing out.
actually.
I mean, that's
missing
pretty,
out.
Like shit.
that coffee I heard is pretty fancy.
It's pretty expensive.
pretty darn fancy.
Well, I mean,
Anyway,
it got pooped.
got pooped out.
There's only so much
perfect
poop can
texture.
transfer those coffee beans.
Those enzymes.
All right. Well, so I'm excited to tune in and watch you guys. Best of luck. I know it's going to be a lot of the same teams jumping out there, but I hope to see some new names out there, to be honest with you. Like,
Yeah, now it's on PC. First time
Yep.
PC players.
yeah,
are
I'd like to
doing
see some of
a
those
raid thing.
PC-specific players go and show us console players how to do raids because they're better at raiding than us.
Toxic, Pope. So toxic. Jeez.
Can I just say that I loved that the team that got world's first for Wrath of the Machine were the German bus drivers.
Yeah, that was great.
That made me, just as a person, happy.
Yeah,
It was literally a clan of bus drivers from Germany. Nobody who
that's
streams
amazing.
makes content, just a bunch of buddies. And
Who drive buses.
I really hope someone, like a group like that, takes world's first, and that we can celebrate a group of, people who aren't always, gunning for the spotlight, not always streaming or making content or whatever.
Yeah.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
We're not getting it, let's be honest. So yeah.
Oh, you guys are definitely getting it. I put money down on you.
We're getting
I'll
tokens,
probably
guys.
set my alarm for tomorrow.
We got
I
a
bet.
pretty good string of top 100s. That's nothing.
Yeah.
You know what?
Consistency.
You are consistently in the top.
Hashtag clean 82 is a thing.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
We got some Twitter questions. You want to jump into that?
Sure. Big Papa says, how hard is it being... we already talked about this. Carlito says, I don't even know how that made it into the thing, actually, to be honest with you. Carlito says, I played through the campaign and enjoyed it. Some cool scenes and those strike missions were fun. Then I went to Reddit and people were saying it's the worst. It's worse than The Dark Below. Am I crazy for having a good time?
I wanted to bring this up also because with all of the complaints and the bad decisions that Bungie has made, I personally have really been enjoying the DLC. I've had a great time playing more Destiny 2. Is Destiny 2 a bad game? No, it's not. Did it give us the world in terms of endgame? No, it failed very short on that. But fundamentally, the game is fun to play. And
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game. And the Osiris DLC adds more of the Destiny 2 content that I did enjoy, and it added more weapons to chase after, and it even added more grind to the game as well to go and collect and do stuff. So
there's more Destiny.
Yeah, there is literally more Destiny 2 to play with this DLC. So a lot of people come in and be like, I heard this DLC is just absolute garbage, and there's only 3 hours of content. And I'm like, 3 hours? Did you play the new raid layer already? Did you collect all the Osiris weapons? This is literally impossible.
Play all the adventures?
Yeah. Like, did you just play the story of Destiny 2, which was about 8 hours, and then quit and then call the game bad because you just played the story? There's a lot of people jumping on a bandwagon to say that it's bad when they haven't even really cracked the door open and taken a look for themselves. So
thank you.
I've personally been enjoying the DLC. Yes, there's problems with the game, and there's going to continue to be problems for the next few months, maybe even a whole year or longer. But it's still fun. I'm still enjoying myself.
Yeah, so I think this is the thing. So people will be like, yeah, but how long is that going to last? I'm like, well, I don't know. But all I can tell you is right now, I'm having fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying what I've played, and I'm enjoying what I'm currently doing. So will this last me 2 months? Will it last me till the next DLC? I don't know. Probably not. But what I am playing right now is totally something that I'm having a good time with. I am offline being like, you know what? I want to go play more Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go get more materials, go forge some weapons. I want to go try and get new exotics. So
I agree with you guys both wholeheartedly. And it's something it's hard to talk about right now because yeah, I do see the problems with Destiny too. And they're myriad. And frankly, it's exhausting to talk about them all the time. So you know, like if I'm on stream and I've already talked about like, you know, the problem with forging weapons, I don't want to talk about it all fucking day. I'm going to talk about it once and then say, yeah, there's a problem with forging weapons, but I want to talk about the fun I'm actually having kicking this guy's ass in the Crucible right now. Because I'm here to have fun.
Lens.
Look, I'm here to have fun. You know, like I understand there's just problems, and I'll talk about the problems, but it's just not going to be the focus of my life. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to make it the focus of my life. If you have fun
with, and you talk about problems that you have problems with.
If I don't have fun with it, I'm going to stop playing it. I'm going to go play something else. Monster Hunter World Beta starts this weekend. I cannot wait to start the Monster Hunter World Beta.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the fact of the matter is I'm sitting here having a blast playing Destiny with my friends, and I'm going to continue to do so.
Yeah, and there's more content coming tomorrow. We get a raid layer, and there's also Masterworks coming on the 12th with an update.
Yeah.
And then there's the Dawning event.
Be cool.
There's also the Dawning event that's going to happen in December. These things make me excited to play the game, just straight up.
There's one thing that they need to do better in regards to this. So you briefly touched on it, Tefty, how you said there were players that, you know, after they finished the story, they just dropped off and stopped. They did this really well in Taken King and also kind of Rise of Iron, where once you finish the main story, there was kind of the Taken War that came on, and then it was an extended quest that led you more around and more around both the world, the story, and the game mechanics that would eventually lead you into things like doing in-game activities. That was not done in Destiny 2. Once you finish the story, you have no incentives pushing you towards trials, towards the raid, towards, you know, really leveling up in any sort of way. The only thing that they do is, like, when the activity first comes around, there's a splash screen that comes.
This is all true, Patrick. But the question is that, like, people are talking about the game like it's the worst thing. Like, it's worse than
I disagree with
the
that.
Dark Below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
I personally disagree with that.
I see the problems, and I can, like, you're listing off another problem. We've talked about problems this entire podcast. But no, you're not crazy for having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're going to clip this. They're going to clip this 15-second statement and call us Bungie shills. But I'm enjoying the game. I'm having fun.
I'm not familiar with this term. I've never heard it before.
Well,
I'm sorry for having fun with something you don't have fun with. Okay?
So it's back to the original thing. Like, the game itself, could it be better for the end game? And our complaints are what is about extending the games for the hobbyist, right? So currently, you play it, you're having fun playing it, you get done with it, and then you play something else. That's how the game is designed right now. And so go in, enjoy it, and don't shit on somebody else's parade if they jump on Twitter or they or they post on social media that they're having fun. Because you're not crazy. The game is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
As far as the story goes, since that was the original question, it was not what I was hoping it was going to be or expecting it. There were parts of it that confused me. Like, we start off, and this is going to be spoilers because we're talking about the story, but we start off, we get Osiris's ghost shell. We find her. We need to revive her. Why is it that the first thing we do is we run as far away from Mercury as possible and go back to Earth? I was under the impression we were going to spend all this time on Mercury. It's weird to me that this Vex machine where we go to sort of revive this dead ghost is in the middle of the forest in the EDZ and not close to the heart of a Vex machine on Mercury. I was a little miffed for sure that we went around the universe instead of going through to Mercury and go to this location, do this thing on Mercury, then go to this thing, then go into the infinite forest to find out some information we need, then go do this other thing. It was really weird to me that we did all of these things not on Mercury. Like, I wanted to spend more time on Mercury. I wanted to spend more time with Osiris. We barely get to talk to Osiris. he almost looks past us and talks to Ikora in passing, and then when you're done with the story, you spend more time talking to Brother Vance than Osiris himself.
Yeah.
Brother Vance kind of talks at you a lot.
Definitely.
Brother Vance is
Yeah,
man.
there's some awkward moments in the
I
dialogue.
don't
for sure.
like where they took a interesting, kind of mysterious character.
He was
then-
interesting and cool and mysterious.
Cool, mysterious. I wanted to know more about him,
They
and
made him
now
into a
it's like,
creeper.
He's
Yeah.
super creepy. He's like,
It's-
I wrote all the books on Osiris, so I should meet
Yeah.
him. Why are you doing
Yeah.
And the way
It's like-
that
It's like red
Ikora
flags.
speaks to him, the way that Ikora speaks to him is like kind of like a fanboy. Like he's ready.
Yeah.
He, like literally, Brother Vance is running the fan site for Osiris, and that's
I will
that's,
say
that's
that-
messed up.
in the story, he probably has more personality than Osiris. Osiris just kind of comes in. He's like, "Sup, I'm going back in the Infinite Force now. Come find me if Brother
this is my
Vance lets you."
It really is weird that
Oh.
he's not like an NPC that gives a quest afterwards.
I'm sad that he's gone. Osiris. So I feel like the issue is that the story of Osiris is such a big story that I don't think you could even do it justice in any DLC. Him as
True.
just his story. Like I want to know so much more about him.
The most.
I want to find
dangerous
out what
warlock.
he's been doing. Right, he's got such a crazy reputation.
Did he invent
and why
the
is the
infinity aspect?
DLC? Why is the DLC called Curse of Osiris?
What's the
his curse?
Yeah, what is the curse?
Male
We don't
pattern
even
baldness.
find that out.
Yeah, that's
Narrow
right.
pattern baldness.
Okay.
You nailed it, Briar.
The story just
Ikora
leaves me with
also
so
has
many
a curse.
questions.
Yeah.
Does Ikora also have male pattern baldness?
She
Well,
might.
It's not male.
Maybe
That
the
she
warlock
she
thing?
imitates
Maybe
she imitates
warlocks
her
can't keep
mentor.
their hair?
Good, because they have
Zavala-
everything else. They don't need hair too.
Zavala also has the curse.
There's a lot of bald people.
There's a lot of balding. In
I think
Destiny.
they're just
I think the
anti-beards.
light might be the cause.
Yeah,
The
too much
Traveler
light.
also bald.
They kicked out Osiris because he had a beard.
That's probably true as well.
we
right.
are we are onto something right now.
As we know,
Cade is-
beards are not
Cade is-
allowed in Destiny 2.
They're not
Yes.
allowed.
Cade is technically bald as well. He doesn't have hair.
This is
Won't find
we
one.
are uncovering some very deep-seated hatred by the writers at Bungie.
I'm worried they're about to cut my Skype connection again.
Finger on the button.
No, that's 343.
RNG is your friend says, did Bungie ever take new PC players or anyone else who bought the game within the last month, especially on Black Friday, into consideration before the changes to prestige activities? Some only got 6 weeks or less to play before being locked out of
Yeah.
activities because they didn't buy the DLC.
It honestly does not feel like they even thought about it.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
The decision to do a pre-Christmas DLC has always been a strange one to me. It was strange for the Dark Below because you have so many people who get the game for Christmas, immediately log in and find out this isn't the newest version of the game. Like I can't even do half the shit in this game because there's already a DLC out for it.
Yeah, imagine somebody
Yeah.
getting a hard copy on Christmas.
Yeah, I'm sure it happens a lot.
Mom doesn't understand. There's
Yeah.
DLC and stuff. You know?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, you're logging in and you're playing this, and you got a lot to go before you ever get to the stuff that you were sold on.
Fortune the Skeleton and First of the Undead says, new favorite weapon
Fortune.
that is a Curse of Osiris drop.
I've only had one, which is the Prometheus lens. So yes,
That's a
that.
pretty good one.
That's
Even
pretty-
If you're gonna go big.
Even if you took out the Prometheus lens because it's bugged and dumb. Which, by the way, I hope that they manage to fix PvP without destroying it in PvE, because it's really fun in PvE
Yeah.
to just have this insanely large bubble of damage and just constantly chaining this laser forever. So I really hope that that's
Yeah,
Is it
that gun
really, really
feels
powerful?
really exotic.
Is it really, really powerful in
It's-
PvE also?
It's a very good ad killer. As far as single target damage goes, it's garbage. You're gonna want Cold Heart.
Oh.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it does the exact opposite of what Cold Heart does.
So if you had Cold Heart and Promethean lens, you can't do that, can you?
no, you cannot cross the beams.
Dual wield them.
That would be ridiculous.
That would
They're-
be
They're
awesome.
both exotics.
It's not quite a drop.
I know,
but
I
I'm
understand.
really enjoying the Jack Queen or King Queen Jack or that hand cannon that you get from
Same.
the Forge.
Mhm.
Like that's I think that might be my favorite. That the The auto rifle that can drop is a pretty good one too, but you can get that as a quest reward as well.
I took that in a heartbeat. As soon as I saw kill clip, I was like, thank you. That auto rifle was great.
Same.
Yep.
I really like the forged scout rifle with outlaw. It just feels comfortable. It feels good, especially in a game where reload speed is such a... It feels bad to reload a gun. It feels sluggish. You can't sprint. You're kind of just standing still, not really doing anything while you reload. To reduce the time I spend reloading a gun is a great feeling. I can get right back into the action immediately. And the scout rifle itself, you know, it looks nice. It feels responsive to play with. And it might not be the strongest, but I've enjoyed using it.
Yeah. The pulse rifle, the new pulse rifle from the Crucible is actually pretty fun. I can't remember what it's called.
I don't have that yet.
Yeah,
I got it.
It's
good.
Yeah, it's essentially Time Worn Spire with a different perk because of the.
Interesting.
It's a 540 rate of fire type of pulse. Feels really good. It's got this perk where as it gets below or as the magazine empties, it gets more accurate. So it's good. Autumn Wind, that's what it's called. Yeah, it's a good one.
I like the name as well. It's very pretty.
Duncan Urquhart says, idea for Zur. Faded engrams should be hidden behind a quest each week. Complete the prestige nightfall using the weapons or armor he brings each week. Something along those lines. Thoughts? Why can't he bring quests? A faded engram would be a hell of a reward for a quest. A guaranteed exotic you don't have.
Seriously.
I like the idea of having to work for it. Maybe not necessarily do the highest level endgame activity, but it could be as simple as, you know, it should be 3 completions, you know, complete X number of strikes. And if you happen to do the higher level strikes, like in Destiny 1, that can count for more. A regular strike can count as 1, a heroic can count as 2, a nightfall 3, a prestige nightfall 4. Let's say you need to do 10 strikes, then you need to kill X enemy type however many times, and then maybe, you know, loot this many lost sectors.
But Chariona, then the players that don't have a lot of time to invest can't get the exotic, and we can't have that.
Do you mean that? Or
if you're not playing the game,
I'm saying that to be an asshole.
He's saying that to be an asshole. If you're not playing the game, then you're not gonna get the rewards for playing the game. If I don't play,
that's not how Bungie designed this game, though, right?
I'm very well aware of that.
Yeah.
If I
that's why I asked Holtz, is like, because that is the argument that players made that forced Bungie's hand, or well, Bungie. That's why Bungie, I think, developed the game that they developed, was because of that exact argument. Is, you know, the game's too hard. It takes too much grind.
It's built that way because an accountant figured out that if they make the game as accessible as it is, the amount of money that they're going to make from bright engrams will be maximized. That's why the game is the way that it is. But if I play literally any other game, if I go play Nier Automata and then I stop playing after 2 hours, I don't get to continue the story. I don't get to find out what happens next. I don't get stronger. My weapons don't get upgraded because I don't have time. It pauses, and I can continue where I left off as soon as I pick the game up again. There don't need to be shortcuts. And if you don't, like, one complaint that people have is there's not enough to do. Because when you have X amount of time, then you blow through everything quickly. If I didn't have all this time, coming back would be more exciting because it's like, I've got so much adventure left ahead of me, and I take it in an hour a day. And I continue my adventure. I'm going at my own pace, but there's so much left ahead of me. The sky's the limit. That's a good feeling to me. That's why I spent years playing MMOs, was because there was always something to keep going for. And I feel like if I didn't have 1 million hours to invest into Destiny, well, then the chance to, you know, continue and then get that weapon at some point in the future would be something that would keep me coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yep.
I agree.
I don't know if I agree with that, but Chazland says Briar Rabbit is my favorite. Some of the COO missions had areas that look suspiciously like Sparrow Racing Lanes. Think SRL will drop, and do you think they'll give us back our Sparrow horns? Did it work? Did he read my question?
So
yes and yes.
Someone
He's
was
a
like,
shill.
"Do you think SRL's coming back?" And I was like, "Nah." And then I played that one mission, and I was
Right.
like, "Holy crap, this is an SRL map." Okay, well maybe it's coming back, guys.
Literally an SRL map.
Literally.
So
an SRL
one of the
map.
top Reddit posts then when Dawning drops is going to be Bungie reuse content from Curse of Osiris for
Yep.
Sparrow
Yes.
Racing League.
Yeah.
Do you guys think Sparrow Racing League should come back? Like, is that something you guys would like to see? Do you think
I'm
it's
okay with that.
I love
it. Was
it.
fun.
I love more options for more people that like different kinds of content. There's people that loved Sparrow Racing, man.
There are.
And if it's available and easy to in something that can be made available to people, but yeah. You know, and here's another thing, Briar. I don't understand why I understand
Char.
why, but the vehicles in the game are different. The campaign missions that are different than when we get to play during other parts of it. They feel different, right? So the guns of the tank, and I guess I just want to see more opportunities for us to use those vehicles in different ways, right? In different, like, there should be I don't know why on EDZ there shouldn't be a way of spawning a heroic event. And when that happens, a cave entrance opens up and there's a tank in there, and you can drive a tank out and help finish the fight that way. You know, I guess it's just
And a multi-phase world boss shows up.
yeah, just as you make an event heroic, a band of those guys comes through, and you can shoot them off and use them to, I don't know. That's in one of the public events, but. Just saying, I want to see more vehicles being put into the space.
Quick note. Now Chariona has
Char.
logged off. Char has logged off of Skype. We pray that he has not angered the Skype gods by.
He angered the Skype gods.
Or is just straight up angry at us discussing SRL because he hates SRL, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay.
That one was my router. I apologize. No, not Skype.
For those that are asking, this is Arden.
Hello, Arden.
Hi, Arden.
Is she's a
So
cute little girl that likes to watch. So she's watching you guys right now. All excited. So say hello.
Matt Mattingly says, serious question, guys. When Osiris was banished from the Vanguard as retaliation, do you think he took the ability to grow facial hair with him? Could that be why Guardians can't grow beards?
That is the
Osiris?
curse
Topical.
that he
That's
put
the
on
curse.
us.
That would
is
be
it.
a good reason to banish him.
Exiled if you have a beard from the tower.
He was too manly,
That's
and
why
they
Dead
couldn't
Orbit's trying
handle
to
it.
leave because he has
They
a
couldn't handle it.
Yep.
Tyler Gang says, how do you feel about all the cool exotics being behind a pay? Oh, we were talking about this. David Butt Jolly says, try to escape all the negativity surrounding the game right now. What are one of your favorite changes they did right? Mine is getting a bright engram instead of motes of light when I level up.
Oh, that's fair. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd much rather. Yeah, Motes Light were just kind of whatever to me.
Yeah. Same.
I'd say the ornament system I think is really cool. Like looking at
Yeah, I
all
like
the
it.
possibilities that you could do to unlock and in different activities. I thought that was a big step in the right direction, honestly.
I would agree.
I agree. I love the earnable ornaments. More earnable stuff like that in the future would be great.
Yep.
In Destiny 1, it took them a few years, but I feel like they really nailed down the record book system, especially by the time Age of Triumph rolled around. I would love to see at some point the game added a huge record book filled with, the lore of the game. Take the Grimoire and make it a record book with activities to do, have all the stuff you had to do to build your Grimoire score up, put it in a record book, and have things like emblems, ships, sparrows, ghost shells, shaders, all this stuff exclusive to the book, added for long-term grindable rewards. That would be a way to make the, hardcore player base who is desperate for something to grind for over and over have this book full of activities to chase after with exclusive rewards behind them.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
And it gives you a way to easily track them too. And then having the Grimoire linked in there. gives you a
Exactly.
reason to
Take
open it for
the
everybody.
story. People wanted the story in the game, but I don't like the system of bits and pieces of it on random pieces of armor and some weapons, it's a mess. It's hard to put it in order and read through it. Put it in a book where I can read it like a literal book and let me read the story that wasn't able to be, put into a cutscene or a dialogue bit.
Maybe the bits of the book get filled out, like when you collect a gun that has lore on it. Maybe that lore gets added to the book in the right order. So as you're reading through it, like it gets fleshed out as you collect stuff.
Yeah, the idea is the more you play the game, the more the book gets fleshed out. You get more rewards and you get more story behind it.
That's an awesome idea.
I feel like that could work really well. And there's a game that I love to rave about, Nier Automata. I mentioned it earlier. That has a lot of story and backstory that was in the game that they weren't able to fit into the campaign. So what they did was they put it in what they called these novels, which were text on screen set to music and paced the way they wanted the story to be told. So there were parts of the novel that were slow paced, so the text would appear slowly on the screen. There would be very calm music playing, and then if there was an action scene, it would pick up, it would move faster, there would be more exciting music playing. And then you had all these weapons that you could earn by playing the game. You could buy some from vendors, you could find some as drops in the wild, and each weapon told a little bit of the story as you leveled it up. Every weapon could level up from 1 to 4, and every time you leveled up that piece of gear, it told a little bit more of its story.
Char.
That's really cool.
I
love that idea.
Should I play?
Yeah, you just sold me on Nier Automata.
Yeah, I'm about to buy it.
Nier Automata.
You guys should, yes.
Yes, it's not just my favorite game that came out this year. It is probably one of the top 3 games that I've played in my life.
Whoa.
And I feel like even if you're not huge on RPGs, or especially JRPGs, there are so many incredible things about this game. And the story itself had me so emotionally invested in the events of the game and the characters themselves that I have not felt that moved by a piece of media in years.
Interesting.
Wow.
Interesting.
Nice.
All right.
It's been
You're
on my
gonna
list.
see all of us playing it now. Every single one of us, you're gonna tune in. It's gonna be.
I bought it when it came out, and I haven't played it. It always got pushed, and then one of my mods, Dark
Hefty,
Sword.
it's 60 FPS.
Well, it's on PC as well, but I know it's buggy on PC.
You play it on
PS4. There is a fix for the PC version. I can talk about that.
Oh my god! Can I play it at 140 plus FPS?
I don't know, just because I never really played the PC version. I made a Japanese PlayStation account because it came out a month and a half earlier in Japan.
That hardcore. Yeah. Nice.
Well, so just so you know, Char, Tefty doesn't touch anything if it drops below 140 frames.
It's tough. It's tough for me.
It must be really hard to be you, to have eyes that do not function below 140 FPS.
I have a 240 hertz monitor, and it hurts my soul when it's not being taken advantage of.
The church is a very exclusive place, and
no, it's open to all. It's just,
is it?
Yeah, the inner circle might be reserved somewhat for a certain high frame rate experience. That's all.
I can promise you the cutscenes are not capped at 30 FPS.
Glorious.
Oh, wow.
Praise be.
But are they letterboxed
Next level.
for that cinematic experience?
Cinematic.
Letterboxing is fine as long as the frame rate's high.
My gosh.
Richard says, Spinfoil hat time. Is it possible Bungie released the Prometheus lens intentionally with a bug to draw more people back in for the must-have OP weapon? Then by saying it's a bug, making even more desirable to get before a nerf comes along.
Anything's possible, but
I don't think so.
I'm going to say
I feel
no
like
on that one.
That's a little too much spinfoil for me.
That's a little too much,
definitely
especially
too much
because
spinfoil.
it's being fixed within a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just some really bad timing.
Ramos Network says, winter's upon us, and so is Christmas shopping. Can the DCP give me fighting tips when I jump into this battle royale at the mall? Trying to get something nice for my wife and not good at crafting.
Buy it online.
Buy it online.
Amazon.
Everything's on Amazon.
Don't even go to a store.
And while you're on Amazon, there's this great service that it's kind of new. You might have heard of it, called Amazon Prime.
What?
What?
Yeah, so
Sub to your
if you
favorite
have
streamer?
Amazon Prime,
Wow.
Hey, I heard there's also another service where you can have them install a lock on your door so they can deliver packages while you're either home or not at home.
Yeah, no thanks.
Hey,
I like them to deliver stuff, not take it away.
Yeah.
And also
like
lose all of my cats in the process.
Sounds like the craziest system ever.
If there's a so to answer that guy's advice or the question specifically,
Brass knuckles.
If he wants to buy something nice for his wife, jewelry is always a good choice. And to be honest with you, like I know it sounds crazy, but Costco's got some really great jewelry.
Costco also has like the hot dog and a hot dog
you can have
soda
a hot
and,
dog.
and,
Like a
and
$1.50.
French fries combo that hasn't changed in price in like 15 years. It's been like $2.50.
Also has giant ass TVs. Now, don't you think?
That's right.
that
She's
your
not going to want the
significant
TV.
other
No, she
deserves-
doesn't want the
She's
TV.
gonna want
Brian.
Don't you
TV.
think she deserves a
Oh my
75-inch
God.
TV?
No.
4K
buy
HDR?
her a trip to the spa, go get a massage, get all relaxed, have
And a
her
nice
have
piece of
her day.
You know
Or
what
a
you can do?
4K HDR TV that the whole family can
You know what you
enjoy.
can
I
do?
mean, it's up to you.
If you go to cherriesberries.com, you can actually get some delicious chocolate covered strawberries. Just saying.
Chill.
That's ridiculous.
Very good. Well, I mean,
Okay. I mean, yeah, but
Tefty, what was your price to sell out to big chocolate covered
you know
strawberry?
what? I wish there was a prize. It was actually a buddy that convinced me who makes films. So he owes me.
It's like a case of beer then, right?
Basically, actually, it was strawberries, chocolate covered strawberries. I got to eat the chocolate covered strawberries after the scene. That was the price.
Cell SSX says, if you could take an encounter or boss fight from any other game and put it into Destiny 2, what would it be?
I want the Gurubashi Arena from World of Warcraft in Destiny. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's a free-for-all arena that anyone can suddenly jump into, but there are incentives to suddenly do this activity. It's available at any time. You can get in there. But I think it's 3 hours, a chest will spawn in the middle of the arena. And the first person to open the chest gets an item. And then that item can be collected a bunch of other times by opening the chest other times. And then you get an item that says, hey, I'm the king of the arena. I want that in Destiny in some fashion. Yeah. And the biggest thing is other people get to watch the chaos. That was the funnest part.
Do they have like a stands where I could just watch other people tear
literally
each other?
Gladiatorial arena?
It's literally a gladiatorial arena with a pit in the center. A dude walks out and goes, all right, chest is there, and then bails, and then chaos would reign when it was relevant. It was amazing because I would just sit back, kick up, watch, because I knew there was like a rogue that was in there that was stealth, and you would see a group like start to just massacre themselves down to the last person alive, and they're like, yeah, I finally got it, I'm gonna get the chest, and this rogue just comes up, stabs him in the back, and then takes the chest. He just did nothing, just waited. There
was something with a like similar feel to that in Guild Wars 1 where it was Heroes Ascent, to where you had to fight through multiple maps, different game modes through the maps, pre-made team versus other pre-made team. And then once you got to the Hall of Heroes, you actually fought to stay in there. So it went between two different game modes, and you fought to stay in this Hall of Heroes, and you get increasingly better and better loot as you manage to stay in there. And it also announces it to the whole universe that you won.
I love it.
It was like, blah, 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 has just claimed the Hall of Heroes. And then you could see like your friends and be like, oh, we're going to go take them out. And you could go into the Hall of Heroes and battle them. That was super, super, super cool.
Hell yeah.
I love things that just let everyone know we're winning, guys.
What?
Don't you want to try to win too?
We've won 12 times in a row. Did you see that?
That sounds awesome. What was the question? Yeah,
it was about a boss.
What
What
boss encounter would you want in
Or
Destiny?
encounter, yeah.
Oh, or encounter. Okay, yeah. I honestly, I think Division Survival would work really well with Destiny.
Yeah, I do too.
That'd be
Battle
amazing.
Royale, Destiny style, Destiny
Oh my
gunplay with a
God.
battle royale.
It would be, but you have like white gear when you drop. You got the Traveler's garbage
Yes.
weapon. That would be so good.
Yes.
You get like a green weapon.
So
you're like, oh, I got the, this, and then
It would be cool.
you
man.
happen to pick up an old fashioned. Be like, I got an old fashioned, guys. It's crazy.
Destiny's
And
gunplay.
only the winner gets a faded Ingram.
There you go, faded.
I like it.
I will say
like
though,
it.
if there was a boss fight, maybe they could put Orphan Akos into Destiny, and
What is it?
your bullets are just wet noodles against him. So you have to use like supers and melee abilities. He's the end boss of the DLC for Bloodborne. So then Destiny players can get actually salty about things that will make you legitimately salty.
Actual difficult things.
Give me a boss where my dodge actually matters for once, please.
That would be amazing.
You can reload your Merciless on Callus and probably push someone off the plate as well, which is hilarious.
Ooh.
Yes.
For me, and we're going back to Nier, so earmuffs for everyone who I just sold that game to. There's a boss fight known as Roshi and Koshi. They're these two huge mechanical robots. And during the fight, you're playing as two of the characters, and you frequently, as you lower their health down, you'll switch back and forth between two different perspectives of two different characters who, throughout the entire fight, play completely differently. They have different fighting styles, different weapons. And as it progresses, you start switching back and forth faster and faster and faster, which does a really good job of giving you this sense of urgency. Like, there's a point where if you don't kill these things fast enough, they're going to ruin everything. And I would love to see something similar in Destiny, maybe in a raid where you're split into two groups of 3, and you're almost doing these completely separate encounters where this group, we have to take care of this thing because if we mess up, it's going to affect the other group negatively. And then they've got the same feeling of urgency that, well, we can't be the reason that we wipe during this encounter because we're better than the other 3. And that creates this, again, sense of urgency between the two split groups that they have to perform properly and they have to do their side right, because otherwise it's going to collapse on the entire group.
In Titanfall 2, there was a level where they were like assembling neighborhoods in this like giant factory, and you were on like these building pieces as they were getting spun around and like assembled in this factory and getting put together, and you were fighting like enemies like on other neighborhoods and in the neighborhood that it was getting assembled while you were going through the factory. And it created a situation where you're constantly scrambling around this thing that's getting spun around and put together and placed all over. And it created a situation that it's completely disorienting, but it's just massively fun. And it'd be cool to have stuff like that happening in Destiny raids where you're not necessarily just standing in a specific place doing damage to a boss who's standing there shooting at you. It'd be fun to have encounters where, the boss isn't necessarily like a guy that you're damaging, but like the level itself is what's really the challenge, just navigating and coping.
Yeah. I mean, I think you guys all brought up great ones. Nothing jumped to mind right away. So I'd love to play the ones that you guys thought about.
Can we do some rapid fire stuff? Because it is like almost 9 p.m.
Yeah, we're closing in on 3 hours on this podcast.
Yeah, nice. Josh Rodgers says, Tefty and Breyer versus Pope and Patrick in a hot dog eating contest. Who can suck down the most wieners?
Oh,
Are they
boy.
gluten-free?
Who are the teams?
I think for the contest, it will be gluten-free wieners.
Okay.
Tefty and Breyer versus Pope and Patrick.
Anybody knows
Pope and Patrick.
that? Yes, we are going to. Patrick and I are going to destroy.
I'm really
you guys.
competitive.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah, I feel like you guys would be willing to sacrifice the sanctity of your body really easily in any kind of situation.
Dude, I did that this morning.
I'm definitely not that person. Like, if I'm not feeling it, I'm gonna be like, nah, guys.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would destroy.
I'm going to be all in on that
Tefty's
hot
in there
dog
cutting
eating.
the hot dogs with a fork and knife.
Right? I'm going to be all in on that hot dog eating contest until I get distracted by something else and walk away.
I'm going to keep going just to.
I honestly think that in this scenario, the dark horse would be Watts. I think we underestimate her ability, and she would destroy an eating contest.
As long as they're vegan.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I have a
feeling that you're more
competitive
than
hot dogs at that point, though?
Great.
Yeah.
Put Tefty and Watts on the same team, and then we got a competition going. Breyer can announce it. We got me and Pope on the other team there.
And the new competition is a sushi eating contest.
Oh, I would crush that.
Oh no,
You're on it.
I would crush
this is going to happen.
some sushi.
This is going to happen. We are going to do a kitchen throwdown.
We did.
I am not
we already
announcing
did
again.
that.
No, we're going to do another one.
You're gonna do a Guardian Con. We're gonna come in with
sushi
We're going to do
restaurant?
a sushi throwdown at Guardian Con.
I don't want to make sushi and eat it. I want somebody to make it and serve
we're
it to
going
me.
to go someplace and we're going to do a throwdown. Those teams.
This sounds expensive because I'm not getting down with fucking cheap sushi.
Yeah.
We'll
same.
expense it. It's
You're
fine, right?
announcing it. You're announcing
And
it.
all
so-
you can
No,
eat,
I am not announcing
eating
it.
Contest
Yes, you are.
of sushi
No, I am
is
not.
certified expensive.
All right, we'll get Trav to announce it.
There you go.
Cutlass 1968 says, "What is an acceptable beard growing age?"
Age?
12? I don't know.
As soon as you can.
As
Yeah.
soon as the hairs form.
As soon as you want to buy alcohol.
7, or is it beard or beer?
Yo, I've been carded with a beard before.
Beer.
I think he said beard growing.
Beard growing age.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you want to buy beer and want to look older.
I'm
get the
gonna
beard.
I'm gonna have to go with in the womb because that's when I started growing mine. You know, so
Tefty was born with a silver comb in his hand.
Tefty, when could you grow your first beard? Like a full beard?
Okay, so I didn't actually grow a beard until like my late 20s because my friends all had beards and I didn't want to be like them. You know, I was like, I'm not gonna be like you guys. Come on.
When did you have to start shaving regularly? Like every
16, 17? I don't know.
Yeah.
I never was like the everyday type of person though. I let it grow a little bit.
I still don't shave every day, man. This is like once a week.
Yeah, I could grow a full beard when I was in high school.
The sides
Must
though,
be
I get
nice.
to.
my sides weren't like thick.
It's
though.
this piece that didn't connect.
Yeah,
right here.
I had-
There's like a piece that didn't connect right here.
I had a goatee like for a long, long time.
Yeah.
You should grow a beard. If you're asking this question, just do it.
Yeah, just
Yeah, you don't need permission unless you're in the military. In which case,
Yes.
you know.
Even then.
I can't
Do it
remember.
anyway.
I can't remember which country this is in, but you can historically you can't have beards, but if you can say I would like to try to grow a beard, and then you are given 2 weeks to grow said beard. At the end of that, they look at said beard.
They
and
judge your beard?
and they judge the beard. And if it is found lacking, you are not allowed to have a beard.
Where?
I
Awesome.
would like to see the beard stature of the people judging this.
Well, you know, and that's probably like a specific job that you have to be, you have to go to school for, right? You have to get a certificate or credential. You have to be, to judge beards, right?
Do you have a master's in
You would have a
beardology?
You would
Follicles.
have to be multiple years of college education to be able to judge this.
I feel like 2 hours in a night class ought to get this done.
2 hours and a couple shots.
No, I'm pretty sure you got to be a lumberjack for maybe a year or so. Then you're good.
You gotta wear plaid.
Yeah, you either got to be a lumberjack or be a fisherman. That the hard style fisherman. In the cold, where you go out for a couple months and come back with your.
The Alaskan king crab.
Exactly. That's
The
what I'm talking
deadliest
about.
catch.
Yeah. Deadliest catch.
Jeremiah Hart says, I need your help, DCP. Please help and debate. Is the Wendy's Frosty a solid or a liquid?
I'm pretty sure it's like an ether.
It's an
It's
ether.
somewhere in
It's made with diatomaceous earth, so it's a solid.
Oh,
It literally will not melt in the sun.
That's a little concerning.
I'm
It's not
sure if I
because
wanna
it's so
eat that
cold.
anymore.
Okay, it's so cold. The light of the sun can't melt
No.
it. That's
No,
why.
It's not real.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a frozen dessert and not an ice cream.
frozen dairy treat.
A treat.
The same material in it is also used to make paint reflective when you drive on the freeways. Yeah.
Oh, reflective.
Thanks for that.
Why my poop has been.
Reflective inners.
Yeah, the exo it's diatomaceous earth is the skeletons of microscopic organisms that have been fossilized, and so their shapes of them reflect the light. Yeah, they
flavor the broth that I made really great. It's good.
One of the great pleasures in life is dipping a piping hot Wendy's French fry into an ice cold.
You guys don't even care what you're eating as long as it tastes good. That's ridiculous.
I mean, pub is America.
Do you?
Yes, I care what I eat.
Tastes good.
No, if I know what something is made of, no matter how good it tastes, it will affect my enjoyment of it. If I know I'm putting crap in my body, I cannot eat it.
Yeah, same.
It's just it makes me ill. Literally at GuardianCon, this whole Taco Bell thing. I'm sure Taco Bell didn't make me ill. Well, maybe it did, but knowing that I was eating Taco Bell and what it's made from, I was literally ill that evening, vomiting all night. So, I mean, maybe it's psychosomatic, but maybe it's
it in fact is.
What is Taco Bell made from? It's made from beef, beans, and the love of Mexico.
I've seen the pictures. It is stock
and
each
Doritos.
taco.
And Doritos.
Well, maybe they changed their people are saying that maybe they've changed their ingredients. So maybe it's real food in the Wendy's one. I don't know. This was
very
report
similar
from a long time ago.
My sister has this rule where if she cannot pronounce any of the ingredients of a food, she won't eat it.
That's limiting.
That's not a whole lot.
I can barely pronounce apples. So
right? I mean, there's no way I go to a Thai food restaurant again.
There's some really good probiotics for you that is unpronounceable. Fishilos, or some crap like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell, I'm not even sure how well I do at an Italian restaurant.
I want the prosciutto.
Prosciutto.
Nope. Nope.
Not gonna happen.
Sasaradimo says, as pet owners, how do you decide to name your pets? I always start on Bruce, and then my wife says, not Bruce! And then we go with whatever she says.
Fascinating.
Usually it's something that when I watch them playing or whatever, some characteristic of them that reminds me of something I've watched or seen or, in my past. And that's usually how sometimes it's just something as basic as I had a chocolate lab that loved to play in the sun. So his brown coat turned rusty. So I called him Rusty, and it's,
you know what you could do?
That explains the cat you have named Butt Plug.
That was a totally different reason, Brian.
Actually, if you get
a butt plug,
if you get like a grayish kitty, Pope, you should call him Casual Shill. It's amazing.
Brian,
a dog and name it Cautiously Optimistic.
Oh my god! So, Briar, I will never tell you anything in secret again. I can't believe you right now. Doug and I go way back.
Really, way back, you say?
Way back. So far back that I can't remember when it wasn't that far back.
All right. I can't read the next question.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this episode of Destiny Community Podcast. If you want to find more of me, I am at Holtzmann_YT on Twitter, where you can find me. I fucking posting pictures of food, not butt plugs.
You're missing out.
I'm Brian Rabbit. You find me streaming on Twitch every weekday. You can check out my YouTube channel that I'll occasionally post a video on. Follow me on Twitter at the Briar Rabbit, or check out my other podcast on Sunday nights, Revolver Live.
I'm Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. You can catch my streams, twitch.tv/Tefty Teft. Usually start around 6 p.m.-ish Pacific time. And I have a YouTube channel too, Tefty Teft.
I'm Miss 5000 Watts. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at Miss 5000 Watts.
Char, you're up.
All right, and I am Char. You can find me at twitch.tv/Char, streaming 6-7 days a week. and on Twitter 24/7 at Char on Twitch.
I can definitely attest to your responsiveness on Twitter is amazing.
I'm lonely, so I like talking. Please tweet me.
Please tweet at him. He loves to talk. And this has been Pope Bear. You can find me on Twitter at Pope Bear, and also stalking these lovely people's streams. Make sure to follow us, the podcast, on Twitter at DestinyComPod. If you're listening to this on iTunes, make sure to drop a like and review it. It really helps us. We are definitely doing great things on iTunes because of the reviews you guys are giving. And I'm stalling to bring up the damn thing. They changed the way it looks. Oh my God. All right. Next week, we have a really awesome guest. I'm excited for. We always have awesome guests, but
he's way better than this week. I promise you.
No, absolutely not. We have fantastic guest of Skill Up, and that's going to be next week. We're looking forward to that conversation. If you haven't seen Skill Up's YouTube channel, definitely check it out. He does great reviews, and he's done some on Destiny. The week after next, we have Neil Kaplan, the voice of Gaul, on the show. And on the 28th, we have Fran from IGN rounding out the month. So make sure you stay tuned. And the year. Yeah. Make sure you stay tuned. We've got great stuff planned this week. And if you're listening to us live right now, tomorrow at 10 o'clock, you're going to see our team come in first.
10 a.m. Pacific.
Yes.
First.
Good luck on World's Most Recent. I think you can.
I will have had a half night's of rest. Be groggy.
That feels good. Yep. That keeps your edge, Tefty. That's how you...
Good. I don't know if you want this edge.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You can stop recording now, this 3-hour